It's the Mixed Martial Arts Hour with
Mixed Martial Arts Hour is back in your life on this Monday, June 24th, 2024. Hello again, everyone. I sure hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the program. A lovely, lovely scorcher of a day here in New York City, just the way we like it. Summer in full swing, and up north in La Belle Province, it is Saint Jean-Baptiste Day. So if you're celebrating Joyeux Saint Jean-Baptiste Day to one and all, this is a big day over in Quebec. No one works, everyone has off. Probably bigger than Canada Day, if you'd ask a lot of Quebecois, and that is coming up as well. Actually, I think Canada Day is next Monday as well. So a lot going on. Yeah, July 1st, next Monday. Also, more importantly, happy birthday to my mom. Today is her birthday. Biggest fan of this program dating back to the very beginning. In fact, I don't know if you guys know this, but when I was in my mom's stomach, the doctor told her that I was at risk, and she actually had to stay in bed for, I believe it's 5 to 6 months. And if she went out and about, I would have been gone. I would have been, I just, something bad would have happened. And so she did that, stayed in bed 5-6 months, and yada, yada, yada. Here I am doing this program. Could you believe that, Frank? Could you believe the sacrifice?
Yeah.
There would be no MMA hour if not for the sacrifice that my mother made back in 1982.
Hey, I know I've mentioned this before, but today is also my mother's birthday.
Is it really?
Yeah, literally. She turned 60 today.
Well, happy
Little
birthday
June
to your
24th.
mother.
Yeah.
It's a big day. Saint Jean-Baptiste Day, Pina's birthday,
And Mysteria Mama birthday.
Wow. You won't even say your mom's name?
No.
It's weirdo behavior.
Oh, really?
Breaking news, it is actually...
Your mom's birthday too?
Nah, just kidding.
Yeah, nah, yourself. By the way, I mean, here I am, kind of honoring my mom. Is it weird that Frank just makes it all about his mom in that moment? Like, you could have maybe waited a beat, no?
I'm sure we've done this every year since we've known each other.
You think so?
Yeah.
I'm literally
it's
talking
the
about my
competitive
mom.
edge. I'm like, it's his show, but it's my mom.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking
Bit of
about
hijacking, yeah. Bit of hijacking.
I'm talking about her staying in bed for 6 months to save my life.
To be honest,
Yeah.
it's because my mind didn't do that I'm like, damn, we got to take some of the thunder away. But
Okay,
anyway,
fair enough.
happy birthday, Mother
yours.
Hawane.
Are you doing anything special?
No.
Okay. Seems like it's a big deal. You don't even live in the same state, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Where does she live?
In mysterious.
Oh,
and-
get the fuck out. Are you serious?
She's in Arizona.
Okay. So it's 10:03 right now, a.m.?
10:03.
Have you called her?
I texted.
Wow.
The call comes later.
You
I have to see
texted
how
your
well the
mom?
show goes today.
And you're hijacking my show while I'm honoring my mom, and you couldn't even be bothered to call your mother on her birthday.
I'm going to call her right now. Just continue.
Yeah, sure. All right, fair enough. Well, happy birthday to her, to mine, to everyone out there celebrating. It's a great day to be alive. Now, as always, we are presented by our good friends over at DraftKings Sportsbook. They are the official sports betting partner of the UFC. Big weekend coming up for the Ultimate Fighting Championship. It is International Fight Week, yes. And historically, this has always come on the first or second Saturday in July. First time it happens in late June, which is very exciting. And my mom just texted me, by the way, Frank, and she too was offended by your hijacking. In any event, I'm sure your mom's going to text you too because she's probably watching as
And
well.
then be like, why did you do that?
Yeah. So a big weekend coming up, UFC 303. Of course, it was supposed to be Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. We do have some new information that's come out since we last spoke regarding that fight. Now, of course, it's Alex Pereira against Jiri Prochazka 2. The card has taken another hit since we last spoke as well. We found out on Friday morning that the fight that started off as Khalil Roundtree versus Jamal Hill then went to Jamal Hill versus Carlos Ulberg, then went to Carlos Ulberg versus Anthony Smith, has now become Anthony Smith versus Roman Dolidze. It's an incredible evolution. Credit to Roman Dolidze for taking the fight, moving up to 205. Credit to Anthony Smith, who at this point, could have just said all right, the guy who I signed up for isn't fighting. I'm just going to chill. But no, he is staying on the card. Ulberg injured. And so we're getting Smith versus Delice on the card Saturday, UFC 303. So, of course, we'll talk about that all week long. And there's other fights going down PFL this weekend as well. And there was quite the lineup of fights over this past weekend, from Saudi Arabia to Dublin to beautiful Salt Lake City. So we're going to get into all of that. Today on the program, we'll recap how the pals did as far as their parlay is concerned and how GC did as well. Prior to that, we will be joined by the aforementioned Jiri Prochazka, the pride of Czech Republic, who is in Las Vegas getting ready for the big fight, which he took maybe about a week and a half or so ago. It's an incredible thing. Two of the most beloved fighters in the sport right now, saving the day, fighting for the second time in a matter of about 7 months. Of course, they fought back in November here in New York City at Madison Square Garden. Some people thought that fight ended a little prematurely. Now Jiri Prochazka, on about 2.5 weeks' notice, gets a chance to become light heavyweight champion again. And Alex Pereira gets a chance to, really cement his legacy as one of the all-time greats and certainly one of the all-time great runs in the history of the sport. So that will be at 3:30. At 3 o'clock, Devin Haney's going to join us. He, of course, has been in the news, not really for anything he specifically has done, but obviously the Ryan Garcia saga has been a hell of a saga, especially not only since the fight, but then shortly thereafter, finding out about the failed drug tests. And just last week, we found out that the New York State Athletic Commission officially suspended Ryan Garcia. They, NYSAC, and Garcia's team came to this agreement, a 1-year suspension. He has to give up $1.1 million to Golden Boy, which is an interesting one. Devin Haney may get a percentage of that. We're going to get some clarity. He has to pay $10,000 to the state, New York State, and also the win has now been overturned to a no contest. So Devin Haney's still undefeated now, still 31-0 with 1 no contest. And there's been all kinds of drama. He has said that he wants to sue Ryan Garcia. There was the purse bid that was only bid on by Top Rank, and the comments from Eddie Hearn, which we shared last week as well. So appreciate Devin Haney stopping by. That will be at 3 o'clock. At 2:30, Machado Garry is going to stop by. And this fight, I feel like, is the second biggest fight on the card. You can make a case that, the Lopez Ortega fight is big, but I think Ian Garry versus MVP is the second most intriguing and biggest fight on this 303 card. And it's flying a little bit under the radar for whatever reason, but I can't wait for it. And I think it's going to be a fascinating affair. And Ian Garry is going to stop by at 2:30 to talk about that fight. So I'm looking forward to that. And then to kick things off, as far as interviews go, at 2 o'clock, we'll be joined by Mr. Big News himself, Paul Hughes, who was victorious in his PFL/Bellator debut. Of course, the big news a few weeks back was that he signed with PFL, but Bellator, which is owned by PFL, back in Dublin this past Saturday. And so he was on that card, same company. And, his opponent, Bobby King, gave him a bit of a run for his money in the first round, but then Paul Hughes got it done in the second. And what about those elbows, which you can't use in the PFL? They very much came, they came in handy in that second round, and it was a vicious finish, and it was a great scene. And Conor McGregor was there, and it was good. It was good for Irish MMA, and it was good for young Paul Hughes in perhaps his last fight in Ireland for a bit, as he will transition into the season. I think he has one more fight that he's looking to get in before the season in 2025 kicks off. And he did promise us a call out when he was in studio, and I didn't hear that call out. And so I've got some questions for Mr. Paul Hughes. And so that will come at 2 o'clock. But what a Saturday it was. A rare Bellator UFC head-to-head these days. We haven't had it quite often. Obviously, there's way less Bellator events these days than there were back in the day. And also rare that they were both happening in the middle of the day. It felt like, if you looked on social media, it felt like the vast majority of people were watching the UFC. UFC making its debut in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And what was interesting about it, on many different fronts was the fact that we've seen obviously a bunch of boxing events over the past year and a half, 2 years in Saudi Arabia. This was the first UFC. We had the one PFL event in that sort of outdoor venue back in February. And this kind of just drove home the point once again. You see when the boxing events are happening over there, maybe they go a little long, they look a little different. The UFC product is such a well-oiled machine that event could have been in Charlotte, it could have been in Denmark, it could have been in Brazil. It always looks the same. And to a degree, that's a credit to them. They're able to take this show and put it anywhere in the world, including a market that they've never been to, and it just kind of goes off without a hitch. And that's pretty much what happened here. It wasn't dragged out. It wasn't anything that looked dramatically different. Would I like a little local flair? Would I like a sprinkle just to show that we're in somewhere different? Sure, but that's not the way they do things. And overall, it was a pretty fun card. It seems like this is going to be the beginning of a relationship that, both sides are very excited about. Afterwards on the ABC broadcast, you had Dana White and Turki Al-Sheikh with John Anik talking about the future, and Turki's talking about hiring a director, Zack Snyder, I believe his name is, to make a UFC movie, and they're talking about power slap events coming there and whatnot. And so, that's a little different. That doesn't usually happen on a UFC broadcast. There was a little time to kill because of Robert Whittaker's big win. But it was, I thought, interesting that Turki was very visible throughout the week, seemed very excited to have the UFC in town. And you didn't see that when PFL was in town back in February. I don't even think he was at the PFL event, to be honest. So he has often referenced the UFC being the creme de la creme as far as combat sports is concerned. And not only that, has said that he would like to see something similar to the UFC in boxing. And so it seems like he has great respect for what Dana White has done, who Dana White is. It seemed like he was very happy to be with Dana White in Saudi Arabia. And it seemed like it was a chance for him to get a glimpse of the UFC. He wasn't someone who grew up as a MMA fan who loves MMA. He's very honest about his feelings about boxing compared to MMA. But even having him on the broadcast right after the Whittaker win, you could tell he was just like, holy shit, this is pretty fun. This is good stuff. So just another chapter in the Saudi Arabia / combat sports story, which continues to be one of the biggest stories of the year. But both events were going toe-to-toe, head-to-head at the exact same time, and there was a lot of switching going on. I thought the Bellator broadcast was solid, and I loved the broadcast team that they had in place. Adam Smith, who's a legendary UK boxing play-by-play guy, was the voice of boxing on Sky Sports for many, many years. Had a cup of coffee very recently with PFL when he showed up as the guest analyst for the Savannah Marshall fight just a few weeks back. But on Saturday, he was the lead play-by-play guy for the entire card, the first time he's ever called MMA, alongside the returning Jimmy Smith and Dan Hardy. I loved this broadcast team. I thought they were great. They complemented each other. They helped Adam out. Obviously, he doesn't know the intricacies and the finer details of MMA as he does boxing. But you got a guy in Jimmy Smith who's done play-by-play for WWE. He was on Raw for a little over a year, and obviously Dan Hardy is a complete pro. They all complemented each other very, very well. I thought that they did a great job. And overall, the card was solid enough. The UFC card was better. And to me, honestly, there were a few sort of points that I just kind of walked away with after the 5 or 6 hours of head-to-head UFC Bellator. I do think it's high time. Whenever their deal with Max is done, they need to merge the two brands. It's you have PFL on Friday, you have Bellator on Saturday. The brands aren't strong enough to be on their own, and you're saving your champions for this champion series string of events, which doesn't feel like the old Bellator in a sense that it feels like it's under the PFL umbrella, and even your crowning champions that just aren't going to move the needle for you. Put them all together, figure it out, put the best fights on, make the biggest events, and really give this a go. The only reason to keep a separate brand is to get this separate TV deal. And I get it. And I'm not trying to sneeze at that. And there's legitimate money to be made, but I don't think it's big enough to keep them as two separate entities. The PFL brand definitely needs a shot in the arm. It doesn't feel like it has a ton of momentum right now. It doesn't feel like a lot of people are talking about them when the events are going on. In fact, on Friday, I felt like more people were talking about the BKFC card that was going on than the PFL card. Just taking a quick gander at Twitter. So I think they would really be better served. And even if it's a PFL fight night series of sorts, it just feels too confusing to the audience. And so if you want to do these one-off, non-season, non-tournament fights, great. But to keep the brand going for more than a year, finish out this year, you had these plans, amazing. I do think a reassessment is in order, because it feels like you're just splitting up. When the UFC did it with WEC, they already had the dominant brand, and the WEC was that complementary brand, which was featuring weight classes that didn't exist in the UFC, 135, 145. And I know they had 55 and 70 and 85 and 205 as well, but they slowly but surely got rid of those. To me, WEC, especially towards the end, was all about 35 and 45. Bellator doesn't really have anything that PFL has. I know you could say, oh, okay, they don't have 185 Johnny Eblin, 135, great. It's just, it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel like they have the lineup and the roster on both fronts to keep them going separately. But anyway, obviously the biggest story was Robert Whittaker. Robert Whittaker gets the win over Ikram Aliskerov, a very impressive win. Another win for the old guard this year, somewhat reminiscent of Dustin Poirier's win over Benoit Saint-Denis back in March, although this one completely different in the sense that Ikram wasn't a huge favorite going into that one, or a favorite at all. I think Robert was a slight favorite going into it, and Ikram's taking this fight on a little over a week's notice, and he wasn't kind of the rising, super prospect that BSD is and was going into that fight. But good to see one of the old dogs and the good guys in the game get a W, and what a W it was. That overhand right, and then he's rocking him, and then he hits him with the cleanest freaking uppercut that you will ever see. Just an absolute beaut of an uppercut. And then he freaking explodes. Absolutely explodes. Over the moon. There was a risk involved here. You're not fighting Khamzat Chimaev. You're not fighting a top contender. You're not fighting a household name. Casual fan may think that you should win this fight. Hardcore fan is saying, well, Ikram, watch out for him. And Bobby Knuckles just reminds everyone who he is, reminds everyone that he's still a player at 185 pounds, and then says he'd be down to be the backup fighter in 2 months in Perth, and that he owes something to Perth. Of course, he's had some bad luck when it comes to fighting in Australia. To me, the fight to make on that Perth card is Robert Whittaker versus Sean Strickland. Robert Whittaker has as much of a say to be the number one contender at 185 as Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland beat Izzy, then he lost to DDP, and then he beat Paulo Costa. Robert Whittaker beat Paulo Costa after the DDP loss, and then just beat Ikram Aliskerov and was, in line to fight Khamzat. And I personally think he was going to beat Khamzat. I don't think you can look at that fight and say, like, look, just by that performance, he was going to beat Khamzat. But I think Whittaker is the better, more well-rounded fighter at this point, especially considering what we've seen from Khamzat as of late. And, considering how Robert does going into championship rounds and Khamzat's, maybe inability to keep the gas tank full as the fight goes on. In any event, I don't understand why Strickland should be the guy to wait and Whittaker, Strickland needs a win over a Whittaker and Whittaker needs a win over a Strickland. It's right there. It's the perfect fight. It's the perfect fight that should be made as the co-main event to Izzy and DDP. And what's fun about it as well is that they both have ties to both guys. Strickland has ties to Izzy, of course. He has ties to DDP, and the same with Whittaker. It's like too perfect. The only potential thing is that it's in less than 2 months, and that's a little damn soon. But Whittaker is the one who just fought, 3 weeks after Strickland. He says he's ready to go. Strickland could be a little bit beat up because his fight went, 5 rounds. But that to me is the fight to make, if you ask me. It's right there. And And I really just don't think that Strickland should be able to wait after what Whitaker just did. So that was a big performance as far as the main event is concerned. Alexander Volkov and Sergey Pavlovich was a bit of a surprise one. I think, Volkov was a slight underdog going into the fight, looked great. And I'm not just talking about his hair, which he was getting coiffed in between rounds, which was an amazing look. Afterwards, he tried to show love to Pavlovich, and Pavlovich wanted none of it. A little Russia-on-Russia crime there. He pushed him, and credit to Volkov for not getting too upset about all of that, but it just seems like there's a lot of bad blood there. Kelvin Gastelum missed weight horribly, and a 170-pound fight had to be changed to a 185-pound fight. Credit to D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez, for taking the fight. Gastelum wins. D-Rod gets a new deal. It gets 30% of the purse. Gets a raise, this, that, and the other. But we've been through this. I mean, Kelvin Gastelum has been in the UFC now for over a decade, and we've been through this so many times before. And there have been times where Dana White has said, this guy cannot go back to this old weight class. And for some reason, like, I know he's talked about it a little bit with Kelvin, but never really truly made it an ultimatum. It has to be one now. It has to be one now. Either that, or you can't fight in the organization. You can't sign up to fight him, and then he misses weight that bad, and now it becomes an 85 fight, and then he wins. And I'm sure the new contract and the 30% and all that, I'm sure it helps. But just fight at 85, man. Especially when you're making YouTube videos about food and weight misses and stuff like that. Like, you can't do this. You just can't. And I don't know why you want to put yourself through that, why anyone would sign up for that, or why the UFC would be okay with that. Just stay at 85 and rid yourself of this type of stress. Shara Magomedov, Shara Bullet, with another nice win, this time over the late replacement, Antonio Tricoli. What a look this guy has. What a vibe he has. Dana White said afterwards that they'll keep him overseas. I don't know if that is because of some sort of like visa thing or because of some sort of popularity thing. He wasn't very clear about that, and there were no follow-up questions asked, but he's 13-0, and I would suspect if they're going to keep him over there, then we'll see him again in Abu Dhabi. Bo Nichols said he would fight him. I would love to see it. I don't know if they'll do that. And then it seemed like Magomedov was kind of down based on what I saw on Twitter. Anyway, that would be great. What a look this guy has. I mean, I'm not just talking about the eye, the whole pirate look that he comes out with. The guy is a very interesting character. Volkan Ozdemir turns back the clock and beats Johnny Walker in the first round. No time, a little old school no time. And that was good for him. Exactly the kind of win that he needs. And a lot of questions regarding Johnny Walker's future now with a couple of bad losses in a row. Just a couple of more notable wins on the card. Nasrat Haqparast beat Jared Gordon via split decision. It wasn't quite Jared Gordon versus Paddy Pimblett, but a close one, and one that I certainly thought would win by the end of the night. I thought it would win the fight of the night, but they didn't. They just gave out a bunch of performance bonuses, but a really nice fight, a hard-fought fight, an entertaining fight between two veterans, Jared Gordon and Nasrat Haqparast. Let me bring in the guys here. We'll talk a little bit about Robert Whitaker. What a win! What a performance! What did you guys think? I'll start with you, Rick. What did you think of his performance, and what did you think about all the talk afterwards about him being a backup, Sean Strickland waiting? What do you do with Bobby Knuckles after a win like that?
Yeah, fantastic performance by Robert Whitaker in a circumstance where, he's facing an up-and-comer and somebody who typically, this is a position where the young lion eats the old lion, and he turned back the clock. So kudos to him. Just, did exactly what he needed to do. I think he has to fight Sean Strickland. That is the fight that needs to be made. The path is very clear. He has losses to Israel Adesanya, 2 of them. He has a loss to Dricus du Plessis. Now, granted, I think, most of us can acknowledge that, that probably wasn't the best performance out of him in the loss to Dricus, and one that potentially we wouldn't mind seeing run back, but I don't think it will be next. I think the Sean Strickland fight is right there. Robert Whitaker versus Sean Strickland is the fight to make.
But it seem like Strickland doesn't want it?
Too bad.
Yeah.
It's the fight. Look, Strickland is in a position where he's, wanting a title shot too. Both of them want the title shot. It's guys that they have losses against. Well, Strickland is a win over Adesanya, but in DDP, it's a guy that Strickland has a loss against. Fight for it. and winner gets a title shot. Feels very easy. Feels very simple and right there for them.
What do you think, GC?
I mean, I was absolutely blown away. It was a perfect performance. I was shocked. That was not the outcome that I was expecting.
What were you expecting?
Not a first round knockout. I mean, that was his first knockout since 2017 or something like that. Like it has been a minute since we've seen him put someone out, and for him to come in there and just, I mean, it was just an obliteration, and then that to land that uppercut, it was absolutely fantastic. I mean, I thought he was going to win, but I was sort of banking on the experience, him being able to go 5 rounds. I was not expecting him to put him out in the very first round. I mean, I was elated. I was watching with friends that aren't really like diehard UFC fans, and like I was going crazy, and they were just kind of like, "Oh yeah, nice." Like it was a bad crew to be with. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it was amazing. When it comes to Strickland, that is a fight that I really want to see. I mean, they're both in prime position for it to essentially be a title contender eliminator fight. But from the side of Sean Strickland, you guys saying that like he probably doesn't want it, in his mind, he thinks that he should have won that fight against DDP, and then he took it to Adesanya for 5 rounds, and now they're fighting for the belt. I feel like from his point of view, he's like, well, why don't I just wait to see what happens in less than 2 months' time in Perth and see who wins that? And if it's Adesanya, then I have claim to a rematch. And if it's DDP, he probably feels like he has a claim to a rematch there as well.
You know, it's a really interesting puzzle because let's just say he says, nah, I don't want to be on this card because I just fought and because I want to wait. If Izzy wins, right, if Izzy wins the belt, I don't think there's a strong case for Izzy Robert again, right? But I think there's a strong case for Izzy Strickland. If DDP wins, I think there's probably a stronger case for Strickland DDP than Whittaker DDP only because DDP stopped Whittaker. And so basically what I'm trying to say is if I'm Robert Whittaker, I'm probably trying to push for the Strickland fight because if it's a 2-horse race, who could get the title shot first? I feel like both results favor Strickland more than they favor Whittaker. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I do know what you mean, but I think there's.
I also think Whittaker. Sorry to interrupt, but I think Whittaker has a good chance against Strickland. I don't know what the odds would be. You know what I mean? But if that Whittaker shows up, that's an incredible Whittaker. And yes, to your point, GC, first stoppage since Jacare Souza in 2017. So a little old school Whittaker.
Yeah, first round against this up and coming guy that a lot of people believed that he was going to beat Robert Whittaker. I mean, he was a slight favorite all week, but I'm pretty sure by fight time it was 115, 105, or 110 each way. Like there were a lot of people that believed that Ikram Askarov was going to get it done against Robert Whittaker. So to knock him out in the first round was incredible. I mean, you got the picture beforehand of him sitting in the bus with like the perfect lighting, and then the walkout where it's coming from behind them. It was just a great night overall for Whittaker. And then he does the point at the camera thing.
Yeah.
It was
the who
great.
me?
It was great.
I feel like that was a shout out to us. Who me?
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, it's definitely a shout out.
Who me? Yeah. Oh, there it is. There it is.
There it is.
Let's see it again. Who me? Yeah. Who me?
I mean, I think that was it. He was thinking of you. He said, "Let me point at the camera."
My God,
this is gonna go perfectly.
The last fight between Whittaker and Adesanya was close.
Yeah.
And I think they're at such different phases in their career from when they were in the first fight or in the second fight that I could be convinced of a trilogy between those two.
Fair.
I don't mind that fight at all. So I look, it's to your point, I think Strickland is ahead in the race, right? He has the win over Adesanya and a really close fight against Strickus. I think it's certainly more viable. He's the more viable challenger. But Robert Whittaker has been around so long and done so much and continues to kind of be at a level where people can believe that he is capable of competing with these champions that I don't think it's a hard sell if you can beat Sean Strickland. So I think it's right there. It's right there for them.
Do you think there's
Whittaker?
Go ahead.
I was just going to say Whittaker's got the 2 losses to Adesanya. Strickland has the win over Adesanya, and then fighting this weekend, Alex Pereira. Say he gets it done. Izzy gets the belt back.
Oh yeah.
Pereira makes one last trip down the middleweight to try to become double champ.
Oh geez.
I mean, there's Robert Whittaker to get the title without anything else feels very difficult.
Do you think there's any chance that the UFC says, all right, this is what we're going to do? It's Izzy DDP in August. Strickland, you'll be the backup. we want to do Whitaker, Khamzat, and Abu Dhabi. Are you signing up for that if you're Robert Whitaker?
He doesn't have many options, right?
I
He
say
has
fuck
to-
no. Fuck no. I was there. I was ready to go. You didn't show up. No way.
But then
I don't-
yes, but what is your next step? What is your alternative? What are you waiting for in that scenario? Because now Strickland has to resolve. He's the backup. As we know, being a backup guarantees your title shot, right? Wink, wink.
Yeah.
He's the backup. He gets the next opportunity. Then what? What happens for Whitaker in the meantime? Or what happens to Whitaker next? Like, I don't know if you can turn it down without having something else as an alternative. Like, what is your alternative there if you're Robert Whitaker?
I wonder if the UFC is running to give Strickland a title shot or a backup to get a title shot, given how, critical he has been about the business.
Yes, no, but you suggested that scenario, right? I'm saying from the Robert Whitaker end of it, you kind of have to fight Khamzat. What else do you do?
Yeah.
What is your?
Do you think
what
there's
is-
a chance
you
they
say
try to
no
run
and
that
then what?
back?
You say no, and then what do you do? What is your move if you're Robert Whitaker?
All I'm wondering at the moment is because I saw Khamzat tweet about him. Do you think they try to run that back? Do you think they try to?
I think
book
it's
that for-
possible.
Yeah, I feel like because who else are you going to match up Khamzat with? I feel like they try to run it back.
Paulo and Khamzat.
Oh
feels better to me.
good call. Yeah,
I feel like that's the one to make for Abu Dhabi.
yeah,
Agreed.
that's a good call.
All we need to get Khamzat is a middleweight fight. It does not need to be Robert Whitaker. We need him to fight
We
a
just need
middleweight
to get
fight.
Khamzat fight. Period.
Yeah,
he just needs to get
touche.
healthy enough to get into the octagon.
Touche. We need a Khamzat fight, but fight a real middleweight. Paulo Costa is a middleweight. That's all you need. Robert Whitaker versus Strickland. Paulo Costa versus Khamzat Chimaev. They all make sense.
Winner of Whitaker Strickland gets the winner of DDP. Is he?
Yeah.
Done. Sorted.
By the way, I wouldn't even hate a Paulo Costa versus Jack Hermanson type of fight. Why does he get to fight like the top three guys? He's currently ranked 11th at middleweight.
I think he would want it.
No, I know he would want it, but it's like, I don't know. I think he needs to build himself back up now. Also, they still haven't been able to explain to us, can he fight in the States or not? How could you
Khamzat
put?
you're talking about?
Yeah. How could you put someone in a title eliminator if they could then become a champion?
Because you're going to go to Saudi Arabia. You're going to go to Abu Dhabi.
He's just going to be the Middle Eastern
You're
champion,
just the Middle Eastern champ.
or the I don't know. Can he fight in Europe? He's the D'Lo Brown of of the UFC.
Yes.
Come
Yes.
on, what is going on here? This is crazy.
He has to be able to fight in Europe. Yeah.
I would
Training
imagine.
at All Stars.
Who knows? We don't know. This is the problem.
But how many European title fights are they doing? One max a year?
No, but between
maybe two if we get Spain.
Yeah, they ain't doing that. That's going to be a great title fight in Utah later this year. How lucky is Utah getting PFL on Friday and then Taporia
Big.
and Max? Yeah.
But do those not make the most sense? Right. That's those specific fights are made. They're done. It's easy. If Strickland doesn't want it, I would understand, right? I would get that from Strickland's perspective. But he's also a guy who kind of takes fights and stays busy.
Yeah.
I just
Fight Rob
wondered though
Whitaker.
because he got on the mic right after the Paulo fight and was like, "All right, I did a solid. Now it's my turn for the title shot." I'm wondering if he's willing to take another fight that isn't for the title.
I think if they pay him enough, he'll take it.
Yeah, and I think he's tweeted that as well. It would just be so great to have those four guys at the top of the bill
Love it.
in Australia. I love when it's like a mini tournament like that. What did you guys think of the atmosphere over there? Did it feel like the boxing events over there was in the same arena, the Kingdom Arena? So the indoor one where Francis happened against AJ and Tyson Usyk. Still feels a little quiet, but I think towards the end it got a little louder. There were even some boos, which isn't common, but it doesn't quite feel like a American or European crowd. Would you say?
Yeah, I think that's
I mean,
accurate.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't like UFC Austin or like a UFC Paris crowd. I don't love how far they sprawl out the floor seats.
Yeah.
Like I feel like this is a sport that you need to start stacking them up high as quickly as possible so people have better view and are closer to the octagon.
Yeah, it's just such a big arena. It's a soccer stadium.
Yeah.
So everything is so spread out. So they don't really have a ton of options there. So like I said, Volkov, Pavlovich, Gaslam, D-Rod, Shire Bullet. Anything stick out for you guys on Saturday afternoon?
Pavlovich not being able to close the range, and then he was essentially just couldn't do anything against Volkov. I mean, that was just like a clean sweep. He was beating him down. It's just crazy how quickly we went from before that Aspinall fight in early November. So that's 7 months ago. This guy was like the killer at heavyweight. And now we've seen him lose 2 in a row, one by vicious knockout and one by him just getting worked for 15 minutes. It's just crazy how fast the sport can move. I mean, we were talking about this guy being a legit heavyweight title contender, and now I don't know how he gets back into that picture.
Yeah. Hawk Perust and Gordon was a sick fight. And Uzdemir's knockout will definitely stick with me.
You signing up
Oh,
for...
yeah, the no-time knockout.
That was great. Old school. You guys signing up for Shara Bullet against Bo Nickel?
Hell no. Not even...
Oh, what?
Wait,
Not
why?
even 1 ounce of me wants to see Bo Nickel double leg him in 30 seconds and kill him.
Oh, you're saying build him up. Build him up.
What? Oh, yeah, you're a pirate guy. God, you're like a diehard.
So you want to build
I'm
him
not
up.
a diehard, but I just don't want to see... Like, what...
I mean, you're
what
tweeting about the pirate code.
Fair play. Do we need like that we know exactly how that fight's going to go. There is no intrigue to that fight. I have zero interest in that. Like Bo Nickel double legs him in 30 seconds and dumps him and then that's over. Like why do I need to see that? I already know. They do it in the gym. Hey, go Shara Bullet and Bo Nickel link up in a gym, record it, show us the 30 seconds that'll play out. I don't need to see that in the UFC. No interest.
Well, what gym are they going to link up in? Because Dana says
Bo flies over. Bo
not
flies
flying
over.
to States.
Bo flies over there.
I couldn't
By
tell.
the way, is it
because of the eye or is it
it's because
because
of the eye, right? Like
I don't
Michael
know.
Bisping had this whole thing how he had to hide his eye from the commissions for so long. The dude has one eye. I don't think he will get licensed.
If that's
right?
the case, it's a weird thing to
he's another one we're gonna keep in a certain.
No, I know,
world,
but
and
if that's the case, I don't know if you should be saying that if you're an American promoter being like, yeah, we're going to keep him over here so the doctors in America don't.
Well, they didn't say
exclude-
that. They didn't.
No,
say
I know,
that
but
part of it.
I didn't know what it was about.
That's what I'm assuming because
His answer was just like, yeah, we're going to keep him over here. Yeah, I think that's. But I didn't know if that was. I don't know because
there could be many reasons, but my
There's so much
amateur
mystery.
detective guess is like Michael Bisping has very clearly outlined how difficult it was for him to skirt the issue and pretend that he could see everything. And this guy has one eye, not
Yeah, I'm not going to
trying
lie.
to hide.
I saw a bunch of people tweeting about that, and I thought they were just like joking that that's the reason why he couldn't come to the States.
An American commissioner would be able to answer this question very easily. Like, would
I
you
had no
license him?
Get Andy
I had no
Foster
idea.
on the phone.
Yeah. Hey, Andy,
Line
would
one.
you license him?
What was
No.
the?
What you want to see this fight? GC, you want to see?
I'm down for it, dude. I'm
Oh,
down for it. These are 2 young stars at middleweight. Let's put them up against each other.
He
I
can't
mean,
stop
if
a
Bo Nickel makes it
nosebleed.
look easy, the aura just keeps growing even more.
Bro, give me Bo Nickel, Hamzat in Abu Dhabi.
Yes,
tomorrow.
this is more what I want to
Give
see.
me that
Okay,
tomorrow.
yeah.
Enough.
Sign me up.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I don't know if this is crazy, but I'm ready to see it.
But I will say this: Bo Nickel having a good week, brilliant. PR management by Bo Nickel. I was in the mountains. I was going to take that Robert Whittaker fight, but I was in the mountains. They couldn't reach me. By the time I got back, it was already booked. Shara Bullet, I'm calling you out. He's nailing these call outs that will never materialize into anything. He's nailing the I'll fight anybody thing without actually having to fight anybody. So I'm enjoying what Bo Nickel is doing here.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
It's perfect. What was the play on Saturday? Were you guys going back and forth? Were you only watching one?
Simultaneous for sure.
I got limited resources here. This isn't my own house. I was pulling up Bellator on the phone. Little just lap action,
And how confused were your friends who knew nothing about UFC when you tried to explain to them about the Bellator Champion Series?
Yeah, so they were like, "Wait, what are you watching there? Like, is that more fights?" I'm just like, "Yeah." They're just like, "Is that boxing or something?" I'm like, "No. This is still MMA. It's just another league that isn't the UFC." I was actually watching the news with my mom the other night on CNN, and obviously CNN and HBO Max, like they are in cahoots together.
Just
and
Max,
so they
bro.
played.
It's just Max. You can't call it HBO Max.
Good call. My bad. I sound like an idiot over here. So they played a Bellator promo, and like,
Wow.
of course, big pop from me in the living room. I was like, "Oh yeah, baby, here we go." My mom was like, "What's that?" And I had to go down this whole rabbit hole explaining, it's still MMA. It's not UFC. So yeah, that's the second time.
It's
this
not
week I
quite
had to do that.
Bellator. It's
not Bellator. It's actually PFL,
Yeah.
but they call it Bellator. Oh, well, what's PFL? Yeah, it's a whole
Champions
rabbit
League.
hole.
This is the crazy thing now. You have a Jason Jackson who, had a nice little run there, beats Amasov, beats Ray Cooper on the champ versus champ. And then he loses to a guy who every fight of his in Bellator were buried on the prelims, who they've done nothing to promote. Like, I covered this sport for a living. I know barely anything about Ramazan Kuramagomedov. And now he's your welterweight champion? Like, what? I don't understand. I don't understand how this is a proper business model. The whole point of fight sports is to give people characters and storylines and feuds and fights that they're craving for. It's not just about putting like, okay, who's the next best guy? Okay, let's take this guy who's fought twice for us on the early prelims and put him in a title fight. And now he's your champion. Now what are you going to do about that? What kind of tickets are you going to sell there? Do you know what I mean?
To your point, the contender fight for Apache Mix was also, on the prelims of this card.
Doesn't make sense. You got to build contenders.
The brands being separate, in addition to the inability to combine them and create the fights that people want to see, you're actually hampering both, right? The indirect effect, or direct, depending on which perspective you're looking at it from, is you're limiting what the potential for the tournament is by top talent not being in your tournament that you value. And on the Bellator side, you're limiting the contenders for the champions. So in addition to not having the combined effect of having like one roster where you can make any fight you want, you're actually hurting both of the brands independently. Like, you're not allowing contenders that could have been there for championship fights or people who could have been in the tournament. It's just a mess. It doesn't make sense. It's outlived its usefulness.
It's frustrating to watch because I think you combine the two, you've got a nice little thing going. A nice little number two, but now it leads to confusion. This guy, Paul Hughes, signs with PFL. He's fighting on Bellator. Again, maybe we're the ones who get hung up over these things, but and forget about the idea of going head to head. You went head to head with UFC in Saudi Arabia on ABC. Why?
I mean, that was a local fight event, though. No.
I mean, if I'm Max, I'm like, why isn't this happening on Friday afternoon?
That's a different
or
conversation.
Sunday afternoon.
But to me, I view all these like fights as local ticket selling events. It's regional MMA. All due respect, but like they're selling tickets. The broadcast is not the thing.
What do you guys think of Paul's debut?
Awesome.
First round, I mean, that was
tested.
Got a little dicey there.
Yeah, got tested.
Had to deal with adversity.
Yeah.
Got a finish. Second round. Was good on the mic afterward.
Yeah, it was great. Stuff with Connor was great.
Oh, yeah. Was fantastic. I mean, essentially gave him like a nice little viral moment. Nice moment between the two Irishmen. Yeah. On to the next one.
The stuff with Connor was great. The finish was great. It was a moment where you're like, oh, yeah, that was amazing. And look how aggressive he was. And he can't use that weapon in PFL.
Yeah,
he can't use elbows. If this was a PFL fight, he could not have finished the fight like that.
I don't care that much about the elbows, no elbows thing.
It's just,
I know, I get it. We're limiting tools for seemingly no reason, but like, I don't care. He'll punch him instead. Everything will be fine. Won't be
maybe not the same. Look at Kayla Harrison when she could use elbows.
Yeah, she's the same. You just punch instead of elbow. It's the same thing.
All right, fine. I thought he was going to call out someone. I thought maybe
I forgot that till you said that earlier, but he did promise something.
He gave me a whole thing. This is my first question for him. I was very upset. I told Pizzi I was promised a call out. Where's my call out?
Legit. I didn't remember, but now that you reminded me, I'm like, I feel like I got robbed a little bit.
Who'd you want? Who was the dream call out?
I thought maybe he'd call out Nurmagomedov. The 155 champ. Usman.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't anticipate Connor being there. Then the
big
whole
pop
thing
for that.
became
Big pop for that suggestion, by the way.
We need a little bit more time, maybe. I feel like get a couple more.
I'm going to do it for Ireland. I'm going to be the one to beat Nurmagomedov. I don't know. I thought.
Yeah, we can do that. Maybe down the line.
Also, he just got booked.
18 months.
I'm just saying. Just give me the champ. Put yourself in that conversation. By the way, why did they show Connor in the square, McGregor, during the main event when he has no connection to either guy.
Because it's the most significant thing happening that day, and they should show him before he even arrives at the arena. They should have the Connor cam on him at the hotel coming to the arena,
1,000%,
at the house.
1,000%. I mean, it's just like BKFC. I mean, he showed up at BKFC one night, and then he ends up in the ring with the belt over his shoulder doing a face-to-face with Mike Perry. Like, McGregor comes, they're going to make use of it.
There was something very odd about the fact that there's a UFC event going on, and there's the face of the UFC at the Bellator event in Dublin. Arlene Blenkow beats his teammate.
Yes.
They interview him first, which I'm not blaming Dan Hardy for that. That's a production call. Like, they're telling him to do. And it was actually kind of cool to see Hardy and him in the cage together last time they were there was back in 2014. Not here to take part, here to take over. But if I'm Blenkow, I'm like, well, that's kind of a bummer. But, she probably gets it. She seems like a nice enough person. Get an update on the injury. And then he's shown on the thing during it felt like some sort of weird alternate universe swapping of roles.
Michael Chandler's tweet on it as well, saying like, you finally show up to 3 Arena where the press conference was going to be nice slippers. I like Chandler's take on that. It did. I have to admit, I felt similarly. I felt it felt a little bit bizarro. But at the same time, like, look, they're in Dublin. Like, he's gonna do that. Like, it's just a coincidence.
If you're running a show, are you showing him that much?
More.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. As much as possible.
I would have reversed it where the big box is him and the fight is the small box in the corner.
The best part was that he's just rocking a tank and a Forged Irish Stout hat
and slippers.
And slippers.
I think he tweeted something like biceps and cash or something like that, and it was just pictures of him at the fight. Just ridiculous.
And so he did a bunch of interviews. He spoke to Dan Hardy. He spoke to Andy Stevenson and Bellator in the back. And earlier in the week, I think it was on Friday, he did finally announce that the injury was a broken toe. He shared photos, got into a little thing with Chael Sonnen, who earlier in the week said that he was out due to other reasons, other personal reasons. And I don't know if that ends up not being true. There's a part of me that's kind of blown away by all of it. That's okay to talk about that sort of thing on the Worldwide Leader when I was being censored the way I was about like actual facts and reporting, and that's just okay. And maybe they know something that we all don't. And maybe Chael talking about this led to Conor finally revealing what the injury is so that we can now close the book officially on this entire saga because we now know every single part of the story. But now you understand why he couldn't show up to the presser. It happened the day before. He couldn't walk. He was in pain. And, the presser was going to happen 24 hours later. And, it was shitty timing. Had the presser not been booked on that Monday, we probably would have never known up until the point that he, pulled out of the fight. And then, of course, predictably, just a tough set of circumstances because you knew everyone was going to crap all over him. You knew everyone was going to get their shots in, especially with Alex Pereira and the injuries that he suffered recently and the fact that he's the one replacing him. But as he said on Saturday, he just doesn't want to fight anymore when he's hurt. He wants to try to be as healthy as possible. He said it was a lapse in judgment. He said he wants to fight in August or September, as I reported when all of this went down. Dana White seems less interested in committing to those months as of now. He says he's not even thinking about it until he's 100%. And so I don't know. I don't know who's going to win out here. And I don't know if that's his way of pushing him to November, December range. But it feels like there's going to be some questions for the time being as to when he's going to come back. I don't know. Maybe they announce it this weekend. I would be surprised. I've not heard anything like that. But it's gonna get to be squeaky bum time very soon, I think, for Michael Chandler. He's gonna have to make a decision here.
I wouldn't rush to announce it if I were the UFC. I certainly understand like the sentiment of like you want to get people back on thinking Conor McGregor is coming back as soon as you can. But at the same time, like I think belief in that date at this point would be very low. So I think you kind of have to just ride it out and wait till you really can feel solid about it.
If you weren't going to announce it on the day that you announced the switch,
exactly.
I don't think you need to rush.
Don't rush. Don't rush.
But as I had heard from the beginning of all of this, they really wanted August or September. The problem is August is Perth, and September is the Sphere, and they don't want it on the Sphere because they have other plans for the Sphere. Conor's the only one on the roster right now who you can really potentially force the UFC to create a new date for.
Yep.
But they don't like doing that. They don't like setting that precedent. And they have a method to the madness. I do think an August 31st date would be 2 weeks after Perth and 2 weeks before the Sphere. It would be 3 pay-per-views in the span of a month, essentially, but three pretty huge pay-per-views. You know?
Yeah, that would be an incredible stretch if they were able to somehow pull that off.
Because everyone's going to want to buy the Sphere card just for the visuals and the card they're putting together.
Yeah, I mean, the rumored fights for that, you're going to want to buy that.
Izzy DDP's a big... And Conor, like, I don't know... When you put pay-per-views too close to each other, they take a hit. But those are 3 blockbuster ones, you know? But maybe they just don't want to go to market with this and promote it and sell it. Maybe they just want to commit to the date once he is 1,000%. And if those pictures are recent, with the toe looking all blue and stuff like that, then, you know.
So if they don't, say they don't add a date, I mean, you're not going to do the October card, then November or December is realistic, is on the table.
I'm saying November, and that's if they like create a date, because it seems like they promised November to Jones, and I don't think they're putting both of them.
Okay.
Yeah, but who knows? By that time, maybe that's not the fight. And you know what I mean? Like that far in the future is kind of a hazy picture. You can figure out how to shuffle those pieces when the time comes.
Just do a McGregor and Jones card, sell 3 million pay-per-views.
Oh wow,
and
yeah.
Call it a day.
No chance. If you're MSG, what do you prefer, McGregor Chandler or Jones Stipe?
McGregor Chandler auto.
Yeah, of course. Come on.
If you're anybody in any scenario and the options are Conor McGregor, the answer is always Conor McGregor to every question.
Even if there's is he going to show up? Is he going to get hurt?
Conor McGregor, yep.
Yeah, I mean the amount of people that I just like have had hit me up about watching the McGregor fight, and I've had to like break the news to them. I'm like, he's not fighting anymore.
Oh, they're still asking you?
As recently as last week, I had a kid be like, "Yo, you want to watch the McGregor fight together?" And I was just like,
"That is,
but he's not fighting." Hate to break it to you.
I liked Conor doing the math for everybody who's saying Michael Chandler should take another fight. And he's like, yeah, it would take 10 fights. Sorry.
Everyone keeps saying 2 or 3 fights. He'd have it under his belt. Well, guess what? It'd take 10 to get the check that he's getting cut for this one. So deal with it.
The answer is always Conor. It's always
No, I definitely wait. But there's got to be some point where he's going to say, okay, like I think end of this year, I think end of 2024 should be the deadline. So like December 31st.
If he doesn't have it booked.
If he doesn't have it booked.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, in a perfect world, the fight happens by the end of this year. But I'm saying if he doesn't have anything on the books, January, February, March, that's pretty much as far as they will go by the end of December, then he might have to make a tough call. Any chance they put him on a power slap just to give him a few quid in the pocket? I mean, now we got Paige.
Isn't he going to do like a meet and greet or something? I saw a graphic with.
Yeah, he's going to be there.
Supposedly going to be
on the ground.
But I don't know if that announcement there is going to be Chandler's participating.
Give him a power slap super fight in the meantime.
Maybe power slap will be used as the place where if like someone's in limbo, you let them do power slap for a few bucks, and that holds them over.
I like that.
What a turn of events for Paige Van Zandt, huh? Since leaving the UFC,
just checking every box.
Bare knuckle, AEW, Misfits, power slap, OnlyFans.
Them all. Yeah,
incredible.
Check.
We were talking about
some good sparring footage of her smacking the bag.
Yeah.
She looks ready to go.
Sparring, but nobody's sparring back. Just slapping. We were talking about this like she did Dancing with the Stars. She should just knock off like every reality competition show. Go do Survivor. Go do the challenge. Go do this. Like just knock off everything that's ever been broadcast if you're Paige Van Zandt, and there might be a winning formula there.
Oh, the challenge. Yeah,
let's get her to coach Tough.
Nah, we're beyond that.
Yeah, that's too small. That's small potatoes.
Sorry.
Wow,
Alex.
what?
Sorry,
no love?
Kaylee.
I'll be seated tomorrow at 10 p.m.
Have you watched the second of it?
No.
Like literally 1 millisecond.
I've seen something on social media. So yeah, I've seen 1 millisecond, but are you talking about on live television? Absolutely not. The green hoodies look nice
No,
though. The
not,
green and black hoodies.
I haven't even pressed play on a social media clip. I've not
would
seen
would
one
not
second.
mind one of those green and black jerseys. Those things are stylish.
Who's green and black? Is it Grasso?
I could.
Maybe.
Has there
Nobody
been
knows. As
No,
Joe Sono
no
would
one will
say.
ever know.
Nobody knows.
There's
any
no way
other
to find out.
season where the coaches didn't fight?
Connor and Faber.
Okay.
Wait, what
And
are you
the
trying to
second one
Yeah.
is Connor
And Chandler?
Chandler.
Yeah, wow.
Seeing a pattern here.
No. But Connor and
Yeah,
Faber was
Frankie.
never, they were never billed to fight. It was just
Just
like they
saying.
took two. Tough two, Rich Franklin and Matt Hughes back in the day didn't fight. Tough three were just kind of random people. There was no like official head coach.
Oh. Jose Young says Tito and Chuck didn't fight a third time because
Yeah.
Tito.
Yeah, but I'm saying like
They were
going
never
into the
even
season.
intended
Yeah,
to
going
fight,
into
yeah.
the season. Probably the most famous one is Connor and Faber back in the day. So I don't put Chandler and Connor in the same bucket because they're being billed as such. Are you trying to say that Grasso and Shevchenko aren't going to fight, Frank, or is this a joke about the Connor fight?
It was more a joke about the Connor fight.
All right. Did you watch BKFC on Friday, Frank?
I didn't. I was a little preoccupied on Friday.
Oh,
Oilers Panthers. You
Oh,
had
you
been
was
watching
watching
Game
that.
6. You must be hyped for Game 7 tonight, huh?
Game 7 tonight is going to be awesome.
that does not sound like someone who's hyped at all,
Sounded very
There's only one
manufactured.
game for me.
bro.
Hey,
It's,
it's
Game 7 tonight.
this is like the most magical words in sports, Frank. This is everything you've wanted.
I mean, a 3-0 comeback. It doesn't get any better than this.
3-0, first Canadian team to potentially win since 1993. The 5 Florida fans will be in shambles. The entire country of Canada will be going crazy, except for maybe Flames fans, but everyone else will be relatively happy for them. I certainly will be. What a time. What a time in sports. All this fighting going on. Stanley Cup playoffs going into Game 7. Copa America craziness.
USA, baby.
Euro craziness. USA beating Bolivia yesterday.
Oh, huge. That Christian Eriksen, just absolute screamer in the second minute.
Erickson or Pulisic?
Oh, yeah.
Fuck.
Pulisic.
Gosh. What are you
Listen,
talking?
man,
Why is
I got
Denmark
my
playing
Christians
today?
mixed up.
Or are
I
you
don't
playing
know.
tomorrow?
Don't know,
Or something.
Twisted the tongue.
Canada going
think they do
toe to
play
toe
tomorrow.
with Argentina. A valiant effort. I mean, you talk about a David versus Goliath. Went out there, fought like hell, fought their hearts out. The whole freaking
How-
country very proud of them.
How are we feeling about our boys in blue, our boys in white? whatever they're gonna be wearing?
England,
Yeah.
not great. Not great. Not a great showing. Not a great showing against Denmark. But I think they turn it around. The problem is Gareth Southgate, man. The guy's getting killed. He is getting absolutely killed.
Yeah, he gets no love.
He's good. By the way, can I just say something about the Mercedes-Benz Stadium? I mean, a piss poor effort with that field. What was that? I mean, it was awful. What do you have to say?
What, the size of it?
No, they took the turf out. They put in grass. It was all bumpy.
Yeah.
Everyone was
Nah,
complaining.
no.
They,
Yeah. People just like to complain.
they said the locker rooms were like half a mile from the entrance. It was just, it's like,
Yeah, you got to get a warm up in. No
Who you-
need to do it on the field. You do it back in the tunnels.
who are you trying to impress is what I want to know, you know?
Brilliant stadium. Every time I've been, it's been a euphoric experience. Hopefully, going to add a visit on Thursday for Old Team USA. It's going to be great.
You're planning on going.
Yeah.
You're going to be there with the, I believe that we will win. I believe that
Oh
we
yeah,
will
I'll
win.
be screaming at the top of my lungs. Tough matchup against Panama though.
Oh yeah. Nah, they should be fine. They should be fine. No, is Panama considered a powerhouse?
I wouldn't call them a powerhouse, but they got some dog in them. I'm really worried about the Uruguay game.
Oh, they're
That could
good.
get ugly.
I have a
They're
friend
really good.
who used to work in MMA media, Michael Allardyce. He now works for USMNT, actually both. Sorry, WNT and MNT, the men's and women's organizations. And in the works, as of right now, I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, when the women's national team comes to these neck of the woods in July, you know how they have like the players come out with the kids before,
Yeah.
for the anthem and all that, the mascots? You've seen this?
Yes, I'm aware of what you're talking about.
My daughter's going to walk out with them.
Yes, let's
Is
go.
one of the
That's what I was
mascots.
hoping you were going to say.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Oh, yes.
That's incredible. With so like she'll have a U.S. women's national team.
Yes. And she'll
player's
walk out
name
with one
on
of the
it.
players on the field.
Oh, that's incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah, I'm pretty psyched. So hopefully.
Over at Red Bull
Yeah.
or at MetLife.
No,
Okay, yeah,
Red Bull, Harrison. Against
Beautiful.
Mexico.
Wow.
Big one.
Shout out.
So yes, very excited about that. And did want to mention before we get into the interviews today, our condolences to the family of Taylor Tooley, who fought at UFC 1. Another member of the UFC 1 family. We lost Art Jimerson way too young just a few weeks ago, and Tooley, who's a legendary figure. Didn't go very far in the tournament, but you know the history of UFC 1 and the just like the visuals, the nostalgia, the legacy isn't the same without characters like him. So was sad to hear that, and our best to his family and his friends, and may he rest in peace. And it was very nice to see the UFC, who do a great job of this. Anytime, unfortunately, something like this happens, they did a great job of honoring him at the beginning of the broadcast on Saturday. So wanted to mention that. And now let's go to a man who we just spoke about, who won his debut on Saturday in Bellator / PFL. It felt like he was the people's main event, and he certainly delivered with a thrilling second-round win over Bobby King. Big news was spread all across the island, all across ETA. Paul Hughes joining us now after the big win on Saturday. There he is. Hello, Paul. How are you?
Good, Mr. Lawani. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well, Mr. Hughes. By the way, that prize guy, I see that logo on all the videos. Who is that prize guy?
Friend of mine, Paul Harkin, he runs a competition here, a prize competition. It's in the UK and Ireland, where essentially, you buy tickets, you get entered into a raffle, and he raffles off this week he's doing £1 million. I think the week after he's doing a Lamborghini Urus, doing big competitions out here. He's a very, very popular guy.
Okay, and so he's sponsoring the event because I saw his logo on the videos.
Yeah, he's been a sponsor of mine for well over a year now, one of my main sponsors, because he's a friend of mine. And now he's recently working with PFL Bellator as well since maybe the start of this year. So it's kind of funny. It's a full circle moment for us all. So it's cool.
I love it. All right. Well, congrats on the win. Now that it has come and gone, could I ask, you've had some big fights, but never quite on a stage like this. And after the signing and all the news that you were involved in, how was the week? Not only were you making your debut for the new promotion, but you're making your debut back home, first time at 3 Arena. There was a lot going on here. There were a lot of emotions, I would imagine. How was it?
Honestly, it was fine, Errol. It was a breeze. The whole team, PFL Bellator, made it super easy for me. I was very busy in the weeks leading up, being in the States, doing this whole stateside media and all that, then coming home and doing a lot of work and a lot of extra on fight week. But to be honest, it was a breeze, and I appreciate that the effort that they're putting into me. And I just had to make sure that I delivered, but I think I delivered for them. So everything went well.
Did you feel a little extra pressure, a little extra nerves, considering all the attention on you?
Honestly, not too much. I am used to big nights, and it didn't feel too different. It was actually my third fight in Dublin in the last 8 months. So the kind of scenarios I was in, the pre-fight stuff, the fight week, I was eating the same things. I was going to the same restaurants after weigh-ins. It was kind of the same. Of course, the 3 Arena is a lot bigger venue, but I don't know why I didn't really feel the pressure too much. Which was good. Before I was walking out, I felt very calm, collected, just confident, really, really confident in my abilities and my preparation. And I think it showed then in the walkouts and the performance. I was a little bit in the first round, letting the hands go too much, got into a bit of a scrap, but just felt confident. I just, it all went very well.
So what happened in the first? Because we have seen these moments before where someone gets a ton of attention, they sign a big deal, and then they stumble in the debut. And I'd be lying if I didn't say oh man, I hope this doesn't happen to Paul here, because Bobby was game, right? He really brought the fight to you. What is your assessment of what happened in that first round?
Yeah, I had to keep reminding people all week throughout the interviews that Bobby is no slouch. And in fact, just before we went to the ceremonial weigh-ins, my coaches and myself, we rewatched him. And we all just looked at each other and we were like, we were in for a scrap tomorrow night. Like, this guy is here and he is there to test me. And it was really good matchmaking on Mike Hogan's behalf. Like, he's obviously been doing this a long time. Bobby did give me the test that he was put in there for. I came out a little bit too trigger happy in the first round. I just wanted to knock him out. And some of the shots I was just missing him with would have knocked him out. So it was kind of first round. Then he dropped me. And then I was like, oh fuck, I need to get glued in here, because I was going from zone 3 to zone 1, like some too far out to too close, too quickly, and he knocked me down. I was like, right. In between the rounds, I was like, I need to pull it back a little bit. I need to start picking him off and just show my level. And then that's what I done in the second. I beat him up, I took him down, and I TKO finished him.
Did you say that to yourself, or did your corner say that to you?
It was mutual. You know, I knew when I was walking back to my stall, my nose was bloody. I was like, right, I'm in a scrap here, which I knew I was going to be in a scrap, but it was like, I can't be dropping down to his level or not reaching my level, you know, just because I'm getting into a war. Now, it was good entertainment for everybody,
Yeah.
you know, it was, but that's what I'm there to do. But at the end of the day, I still have to go out and win. And I just pieced him off in the second and I got him out of there.
And so what was interesting about the finish was the elbows were fantastic, and that's a weapon that you cannot use in the PFL. Did that come to mind at all in the aftermath?
Yeah, I mean, it's been in my mind before that, because I've got a really good ground and pound game. Now, I'm a little bit early in PFL Bellator to start saying they need to change the rules, but I think if I do one more fight, I'm definitely gonna be right, lads. What's going on here? You know, let me fire these elbows away. You know, I mean, Dan Hardy is another one. He's advocating for the elbows big time. I personally think that there should be elbows allowed. I think it's MMA. I think that's just how it goes down. If you get cut, if you get hurt, it's on you. So, but anyway, I'm a little bit too early to start, you know, like doing that kind of stuff, Ariel.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, you know, the PFL brass that now owns Bellator, I hope they see this and say, like, we're taking a weapon away from these guys. You know, if they didn't buy Bellator and have these events, and they wouldn't see it in their own product, you could be like, okay, we're just going to keep it as is. But you see that on Saturday. How can you not just sit back and be like, you know what, maybe we're making a mistake here?
Yeah, and not only is it taking a weapon away, it's taking finishing abilities away, and that's what the whole season is predicated on. It's on extra
Right.
points for finishes. So
Right.
almost get more finishes. I mean, I kind of showed that on Saturday night. You know, once I finally got my room and my posture and my base to land 3 or 4 big ones, that's how I ended up getting them out of her, you know?
So obviously you're happy with the win. You're happy with the finish. Are you the type of competitor that's annoyed about the first round? Like, does that cloud how you feel about it all? Or are you able to compartmentalize things and enjoy what just transpired?
I'm good now. You know, directly after I won, as soon as I jumped in the cage, I was looking at the cameras. I was talking to Dan. I was saying that wasn't good enough. You know, that'll never happen again. It's because I kind of thought I looked bad in the first round. That's how I always feel like I look. But then when I've watched it back, I'm like, you know, I just got caught a silly shot because I jumped in. It wasn't like I got properly rocked. I just jumped into a shot and got put in my bum for a second, and I was straight up. But that's just, you know, I'm hard on myself, Earl. No one's harder on me than I am on myself. So I kind of just thought that wasn't good enough. But now watching it back, it's kind of a good thing, because number one, it shows like Bobby deserved to be in there, and I was tested. It then made me pick up my level to show what I'm really about in the second and get him out of there. So yeah, it is what it is. I'm happy now.
When you were sitting in studio here a few weeks ago, and even when you spoke to Pizzi on the crack, you did tell us you had a big call out. So there I am watching. All right, here comes the call out. Here it comes. You told me you wouldn't tell me. You wouldn't break. You wouldn't break.
Oh,
Here's the call out. Here
I
it
know.
comes. And there was no call out. I was very upset.
So look, I wanted to call out Usman Nurmagomedov for the lightweight Bellator.
Okay, there it is. And so why didn't you?
He got booked
So what?
in Shabley in whenever it is, end of the year. So I mean, the likelihood of them having a fight and me fighting them before the season next year just doesn't seem likely, you know. So I just kind of held my tongue. Plus, it didn't come about. You know, the post-fight interview kind of went a different way, with obviously McGregor showing up and having an exchange with him. So it kind of ended up going a different way, the post-fight interview. But it is what it is.
I don't mind the first round. if respectfully, if I could just say, I think you should have called him out. What if Chablis gets injured? You put yourself in the conversation. Maybe you get on that like February champion versus champion card. I don't know. I was promised to call out, and I wanted you to call him out on that night. I wanted you to say, I will be the Irishman to beat Nurmagomedov. Something like that. You know what I mean?
In hindsight, no, I did in the post-fight interviews. I did call him out, but it didn't come to my mind when I was. I'm sorry, I let you down.
No,
it's
okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's all good. It's all good.
Won't happen again.
Fair
Anybody
enough.
else you'd like to call out?
No. Listen, you were the one that promised me. I didn't know who you were going to call out. I tried. I tried to find out. Did you know Conor would be there?
No, he just rocked up when we were warming up. Sinead Kavanagh was in the room beside us, so he just rocked up and he came up and said hello, good luck, all that. Had a minute, and then he was in helping Sinead, and then I didn't know what the crack was, if he was going to be cage side for my fight. That I didn't know. I was just focused on getting the business done, but then I seen him obviously after when I was doing the interview.
Your post-fight words, I think, were really great, and it was cool to see you show him that respect and say a lot of people talk crap, but if it wasn't for him, your whole generation doesn't exist. Why did you feel the need to say that and do that in that moment?
Well, I mean, it came from the heart. Dan asked me the question, how does it feel having Conor McGregor here? And I just seen him, and he came up to the cage, and he was looking, and I just spoke from the heart, and it's the reality. I've been just speaking the truth. He did break down the mental barriers for us young lads coming up, especially coming from the island of Ireland. Just 10 years ago, he was fighting Brandao in the same arena. And that was like the beginning of his rise and the beginning of the change of Irish MMA forever. And then there's 10 years later, he's inspired me, and there I'm in the same arena, co-main eventing my first huge global show. And there I am having an interaction with him cage side. And it just felt right to thank him because it was just the truth. Do you know what I mean?
No, it was great. Did he say anything to you afterwards about that, about what you said to him, about the respect that you paid?
He just said, thanks very much. And when I come out of the cage, that we were just chatting for a second, he was like, I was like, I was over throwing my shots in the first round. He was like, I don't care. I loved it. He was like, he was banging you, but you were loving it. You were loving the scrap. And I want to see that, you weren't taking it easy basically. And I was like, I know, but I suppose whatever. It was good fun.
Yeah. No, it was great. And overall, being with Bellator / PFL, new promotion, how did you feel like they treated you? How did you feel like the show was run? Backstage, all that stuff.
Absolute breeze. Couldn't have been treated any better from the second that I've signed from them. Even before I signed to them, could not have been treated any better. The investment they put into me, and small things as well, such as the walkout and getting extra production for it, having like a long walkout, doing the songs that I wanted. Like we rehearsed this the whole day before with the producer. We got the timing right. They were telling me their ideas. I was giving them my ideas. They were listening to my ideas. They were taking it on. So it was an absolute breeze. Like, honestly, I'm so grateful for them, and I appreciate it so much.
I love the walkout, by the way. It was great. And it seemed like the energy in there was fantastic. I may have asked you this before. Apologies if I did. You've been to events at 3 Arena before, right? You've attended as a fan. To now like be in one of those moments, have one of those walkouts, have one of those fights in that legendary arena where so many great moments, especially in the last 10 or so years, have happened. Was that surreal for you?
Incredible. It was incredible. It's something I'll take to the grave. Like, I'll never, ever forget it. It's just another one ticked off the box,
Yeah. I saw the pizza afterwards as well. What was that? A pepperoni jalapeno? It looks fantastic. What was on there?
Yes, it's called Bambino. It's a very famous pizza spot in Dublin. It was pepperoni, like peppers, hot honey sauce.
Hot honey sauce on
Damn
top.
good. Yep.
Wow. And is the name you just said, is that the name of the restaurant or the name of the type of pizza?
Pizza shop. That's the name.
Okay. All right. That's the spot. I've never heard of that one.
I'll get you a slice.
I appreciate that. I've only been to the Glimmerman. Have you been to the Glimmerman? You don't know. I'll tell you about Dublin one day. It's it's off the beaten path. It's where the real locals go. There's great darts there. Great dartboard.
Posh spot.
Yeah, it does seem a little posh. Yeah, it does. I will admit that, but I do like a good posh. So all right. So you talked about the next step. I do remember you saying you're trying to get 2 this year, right, with them. So is that a possibility?
We'll see. I talked to Tim yesterday, and we were kind of talking about the next steps, and he was like, "Look, give yourself a week, take this in. Let's just take at least a week before we figure out what we're gonna do next." And I was like, you know what? I'm actually glad you told me that, because I'm sitting here thinking about this and that and this and that, and it's like I'm going up to spend time with family. My sister's getting married in a couple of weeks. I'm gonna take a week here and just take it in, because it's been a crazy journey since getting out of that, even before getting out of the Cage Warriors contract with all the pullouts and some other behind the scenes bullshit, and getting that all done, and then getting a fight booked in the 3 Arena, the show being built around me, and finally going and doing the business. So I'm gonna take a week, and then we'll see after that. We'll talk to PFL Bellator and see what they would like me to do.
In your perfect world, though, and I totally understand and respect where you're coming from, and by the way, congratulations to your sister as well. Do you think it's feasible? Do you think it's something that they'll be open to give you one more before the end of the year?
I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, I wowed them enough on Saturday there to warrant that. I mean, I would love 2 more. 2 more paychecks for me would be amazing.
2
That'd be
more?
life changing. Why not?
Yeah. All right.
I mean, I'm definitely doing 1 more. Like, no question.
Okay.
Absolutely no question. But we'll see.
Because then you would have to wait until April of next year, right? That's way too long.
Way too long. We'll put it like this. Like, I've already told them. I told them before, just after I signed, I want Usman Nurmagomedov. If there's a pullout in that fight, I've told them that I want that. You know what I mean? That's October. So damn right, I'll be sitting ready for that.
That would be incredible. And have you been watching the PFL season?
I have.
Yeah,
I think I got from Friday night because it was just before I was fighting, but I have been following it.
I said at the beginning of the show, and maybe this is an awkward question for you, but I'll ask it anyway, and you can say whatever you want. But I do think it's an idea that needs to be seriously considered, to just merge the 2 brands, because I feel like the confusion with the names, the splitting of the rosters and whatnot, I think it would just make a hell of a lot of sense. How do you feel about that? Did you get people coming up to you being like, wait a second, you signed with PFL, why are you Bellator? Did you feel like there was some explanation needed?
Sometimes, but it is a new thing. There's going to be growing pains there. I think what they're doing, so how they're managing like the merger, has been great, because at the end of the day, like, this season, it is what it is. But they've got now the Bellator Champion Series, which is a great product. What I think the shows have been amazing so far, and it's given us fighters, myself being a great example, an opportunity to compete for the rest of the year on big, really, really well produced, well matched shows. So that's awesome. Never mind, they've got Bellator or PFL Europe as well. So there's many dates for us guys to stay busy, and I kind of like the idea of having different products. It gives us a lot of options as fighters being on the roster under the one banner. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I understand where you're coming from. But I think it's kind of just growing pains at this point, and not everybody's suited for a season. Like some guys in Bellator who've maybe been there for 10 years, like many examples, I'm sure, veterans, probably doesn't suit them to go into $1 million season. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, so you like it as is.
So I like it as is. I think the Bellator Champion Series has been really good this year. The Paris card I thought was fantastic, and Dublin was fantastic as well.
Are you looking forward to fighting in the US?
Damn right.
Yeah.
Damn right. It's been a long time. I honestly think I'm very well suited to the American market. I think I'd do very well there. If we do it correctly, I think I could be a big star in America for sure.
Yeah. Oh, especially here on the East Coast, right? With all the Irish men and women here, the expats. I think you would do great if you fought at the theater here in New York or in Boston, Connecticut. That would be great. And it's great to see. It's great to see one of these big signings. I feel like all too often the big signings don't pan out early on. It's great to see you deliver. It's great to see you have a great performance. And it was great to see you in the 3 Arena get that, not some random place where you have no connection to. It felt you came across as a superstar in there and as the biggest star on the card. And I'm sure you felt that way as well. It didn't feel like once the main event happened, the energy was not the same as yours. So I think it could, other than the first round being a little dicey, I think it couldn't have been a better night for Paul Hughes. I think it was incredible.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And as I said in my post-fight interview, if they thought it was good in Dublin, just wait until they brought me to Belfast, because, this is where I'm from. I'm from the north. I train in Belfast. I'm from Derry, just down the road. Like, I've lived in Belfast a long time. So if they thought it was good there, do something in Belfast. And, kind of thought in my mind is, yes, it's a global season, although it's held in the US, it's global. So, what if we done a little fight out in Belfast next year?
Yeah.
Just putting that out there. But like, why not? Global
Yeah.
season brings more to what the season is. I think it's a great product. I think it's a great idea. If it'd be great if more people in UK, Ireland, and Europe learned about it.
For sure. I don't know if you're an old school boxing fan, but Adam Smith, the play-by-play guy, calling your fight his first. That's pretty damn cool, man. I thought. I don't know if you've watched it back, but he did a great job.
I thought he was really, really good. To be honest, I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah, the whole crew was great. Getting Jimmy Smith back, everything was great about it. So kudos to you. Congratulations on the win. Well done. And enjoy the time off. But hopefully we get to see you at least one more time in 2024 and one more time after that before the season. I think that would be great for you and great for your fans as well. So well done, Paul. Congrats. And thank you for joining us for a few minutes here today.
Thanks, Sarah. A pleasure and an honor, always.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate that. There he is. Big news. Paul Hughes with the big win on Saturday over Bobby King, a hard-fought win, and one of on both cards that were happening simultaneously, one of the more fun fights of the afternoon, Saturday afternoon. Nice summer Saturday with PFL / Bellator and UFC on at the same time. And by the way, the PFL is back this Friday, the night before UFC 303, Friday, June 28th, live from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. 2022 PFL featherweight world champion Brendan Loughnane is back against Justin Gonzalez. Also, Logan Storley, the former interim Bellator champion, taking on Laureano Staropoli. The action on June 28th kicks off at 6 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus, and the main card at 10 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and ESPN Plus. Obviously, this weekend, a lot going on. Thursday, you have the Hall of Fame, which should be fun. And then Friday, you have PFL. And then Saturday, you have 303. Am I missing something else? Oh, yes, I forgot. Invicta also. Invicta on CBS Sports Network also on Friday, making their debut. Olga Rubin against Talita Bernardo. Kay Hansen on there as well. Let me see if there's any other notables. How many fights? Whoa, what just happened here? Ever since we talked about, did we talk about this on air or off air? I hope it was on air. No, ever since we talked about all the ads on Tapology, was that on air, GC? I think it was on air. Now, I never got an ad before. Now all I get are ads.
Yeah, it was on air. I mean, it's tough. The ads are heavy on that website.
Never got them.
I mean, it's an amazing website, but sometimes and if you wait too long, you'll be about to click something and then an ad will pop up, so you click on the ad on accident. Yeah, it's I wish they would just do like a $1.99, just $2 a month, and I can just get rid of all of these ads.
It's by far the best. It used to be Fight Finder.
It's not even close.
UG never would get any ads, and now it's constant. What's up, guys? What's up, Tapology?
Sure Dog too, but this Tapology is the one I'll always go to.
Sure Dog, meaning you go to or gets a lot of ads? A lot of pop-ups?
I mean, I'll occasionally go there, but I mean, Tapology is just the best.
Now I found this thing at the bottom. Yo, now I found this thing on the bottom. I don't know. If you go to did you see this? I never noticed this until this weekend. If you go to an old event on Tapology, and let me see. If you click on UFC Fight Night Riyadh and you scroll all the way to the bottom after the canceled fights, then it tells you the weights, and then it tells you the bonuses, and then it tells you the referees. I never knew that was the thing.
I didn't know that was the thing.
I always would stop. I don't know if it's new, but I always thought the canceled and fizzled bouts was the last stop. But then it tells you the weights. The weights are actually a great tool.
Well, then you also, if you keep scrolling, you get to see the fan votes, what people were thinking going into the fight.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I mean, it's detailed.
You take part in that? The Tapology predictions?
No, I used to. I mean, we got a group within MMA Fighting. I was a part of it where we do weekly picks for I did it for 3 or 4 months, and then I fell off the wagon.
You fizzled.
I can't remember. Yeah, I did fizzle. I can't remember my Tapology password. I can't get back in.
Oh, that's a problem.
Yeah.
All right. Well, congrats to Paul Hughes. Coming up, We've got Ian Machado Garry, who's a part of 303, then Devin Haney, then Jiri Prochazka. The UFC 303 lineup is currently as follows. It's still great, and there's still a nice mix of up-and-comers and established stars. Ricky Simone against Vinicius Oliveira. Carlos Hernandez against Ray Tetsuruya. Screwed that up. Tetsuruya? How did I screw that up so badly? Pretty bad. Road to UFC veteran. Andrei Arlovsky getting a big time card to fight on. I feel like his last few fights have all been Apex fights, maybe except for one or two. Anyway, against Martin Boudet. Michelle Watterson Gomez is back, the veteran, against Jillian Robertson. Peyton Talbot against Yanis Gemuri. Charles Jourdain against Jean Silva. Cub Swanson against Andre Fili. That should be very fun. Joe Pyfer returning, looking to get back on track after the loss to Jack Hermanson against Marc-André Barriot, fighting a few days after St. Jean-Baptiste. Ian Machado Garry against Michael Page. Who's the favorite as of right now? Oh, it's minus 120. Ian Garry against Venom, who is plus 100 at the moment. These numbers may be off because I'm going off of their page.
It's pretty much the same. It's like minus 135, Gary.
Mayra Buena Silva against Macy Chasson. Anthony Smith against Roman Dolidze. I wonder what the odds are on that. No odds here. Brian Ortega against Diego Lopez and Alex Pereira against Jiri Prochazka. Brian Ortega telling, I think it was Mike Bond of MMA Junkie that, was it Mike Bond? I think it was, that he was actually set on moving up to 155 because he doesn't think he's getting a 145-pound title shot anytime soon. But then this opportunity came up, and he still may move up to 155 and maybe on the Sphere card, but this fight obviously at 145. Are you guys surprised that MVP Ian Garry isn't the co-main? It's still a little surprising to me, no? Who, me?
What do they have slated as now? Brian Ortega, Diego Lopez.
What's that?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I think Ortega and Lopez is the bigger fight.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Those are two big names, yeah.
If it was Connor, I think the obvious tie with Garry, then you kind of like combo package that. You double that up. But no, I think if you can add Ortega and Lopez, that's the bigger attraction there.
I like Garry and MVP kicking off the main card.
I can't wait for that fight.
There's like it's gonna be so good.
There's like some sneaky bad blood there, some sneaky trash talk.
Nah, they'll hug after. I don't think there's any
leading up. You don't think there's been sneaky bad blood?
I think any bad blood has been on the part of Ian Garry.
What do you mean?
Like I feel like he views this as like he's fighting down in the rankings to MVP. He's levels above him. He's gonna make easy work of him. Whereas MVP, just like any like quote unquote bad blood is like a SpongeBob SquarePants meme. Like I don't think it's anything.
He's trying to needle him a little bit.
There's no bad blood.
No,
what needling him with photoshopping his face onto Gary the snail from SpongeBob SquarePants.
But I don't get that one. Like I know it's a thing, but like what is he trying to say?
The snail's name is Gary. Come on, man.
How much?
Keep up.
This is the bad blood that we're getting. This is the intense rivalry.
That's it? Does he have a certain personality trait that he's trying?
The name is Gary.
But I mean, his first name is Ian, not Gary.
Yeah, but his last name is Gary. Come on.
That's it? That's all it is?
That's it. That's it.
All right, I agree.
You might have downgraded the bad blood, huh?
No, I mean, I don't know.
I mean,
there's no bad blood.
Too.
Bad blood is reserved for like actual feuds. Like these guys are like hyping a little bit.
Gary saying recently, Ian Garry, that is, this is the end of MVP's career.
Yeah. Sure.
No. Ian laughing.
He really believes that too. I'm sure he thinks that MVP is retiring after this fight.
No, but
thank you for clarifying that it was Ian Garry, not Gary the Snail.
Well,
saying this.
Ian laughing at the notion that MVP is a legend in the game, saying he didn't fight for, he didn't win a Bellator belt. How could he think that he's going to win a UFC belt? That's good stuff.
I feel like
it's tell me I'm in on the fight. It's not bad blood. There's no bad blood here. They will be hugging after this fight.
Okay, by the way,
be a great fight.
By the way, them hugging after the fight, which I don't doubt, is not an indication of whether or not there's a tinge of bad blood.
Of course there is. Pavlovich and
that's an extreme.
And Volkov.
Even Matt
that's
Serra
bad blood.
and Matt Hughes.
That's bad blood.
Hugged after an intense buildup. Right?
My
Usyk and Fury kissed each other afterwards. Now they hate each other again, but they were like kissing each other on the forehead.
I don't think there's bad blood there either. I think they
come on, he calls him a sausage every 2 seconds.
No, see, that's just promotion. Bad blood is what we saw with Pavlovich and Volkov. That's bad blood. That's legit bad blood. All week they were chirping at each other about it. Face off, they're talking about it. Every moment they were next to each other, they were talking about it. And then he said, "Get off me! I don't want to hug you." That's legit bad blood.
By the way, he wasn't even trying to hug him. Poor guy. He's just like showing him love, and then he freaking flipped out.
And it was like something serious that like Volkov at the weigh-ins was like actually in like a serious tone. He wasn't just like shit talking him. He was just like, "Why'd you tell people that I was gonna take this fight first? Like, what's up, man? Like, let's have a serious conversation about this."
I'm still not even quite sure what the bad blood is there.
My thing is, I think the UFC just lied to both of them. Said, "Hey, he said he'd fight you first." They said to the other one, "Hey, he said he'd fight you first," and then they got tricked into fighting each other, and it worked. Yeah. And now there's bad blood.
I think the craziest part about that fight is how small Sergey Pavlovich looked compared to Volkov. That was jarring to me. I was like, this guy is the actual Ivan Drago, and he looks just he's just getting mogged, as the kids say, by Alexander Volkov right now.
How great was the hair coiffing?
That was fantastic.
It was just so good. It was
and then
so calm.
People making the memes afterward where it's just like Sergey in his corner, like, what do I do? How do I get inside this guy? Like, I'm losing the entire fight. And then it's like Volkov, and it's just some guy at the barber, like getting his hair done.
So good.
So good. It was so good, dude.
I don't know if I've ever seen that with the little coiffer thing, whatever it's called, the little comb.
He had like the little smile on his face.
And it was like a small, it was like the typical one that you would see in a barber shop, like just the little small one where you put it in your front pocket, when you're done. Class.
It was great.
Oh, it was
great,
amazing.
great moment. Great moment.
I think he explained why his hair was a little longer and why that was necessary. I don't remember the reason, but anyway, I feel maybe there's not bad blood. I feel like there's tension there. I feel like there's something. There's a little Europe bragging rights. There's
I dig the fight. I'm in.
And also, what about the note that we mentioned to MVP, courtesy of my friend Alan Murphy, the night Ian Garry made his pro debut, Cage Warriors 101 in February of 2019, MVP fought Paul Daly at Bellator 216. That's crazy. I mean, think about how far into his career MVP was by the time he fought Paul Daly and the buildup for that fight. That was the night that Ian Garry made his pro debut in Liverpool against James Sheehan, won via unanimous decision, hasn't lost since, 14-0. Pretty remarkable. Ian Garry, currently 26, MVP. How old is MVP? He is 37. I mean, it's
decade.
Quite the difference.
Yeah.
More. And of course, we last saw MVP at UFC 299 when he beat Kevin Holland. And we last saw Ian Garry at 298 when he beat Jeff Neal via split decision. The wins in the UFC have been impressive. Darian Weeks, Gabe Green, Keenan Song, D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez, probably the most impressive one, the finish. And then Neil Magny in Boston, August of last year. And then Jeff Neal. Can't wait for this fight. This is going to be great. I think it's the second biggest fight on the card with the biggest stakes attached to it, other than the main event, of course. And now here's our old friend, Ian Machado Garry, kind enough to join us for a few minutes. Hello, Ian. How are you?
How are you, Ariel?
Good to talk to you, my friend.
Good. It's good to talk to you. I'm excited.
I have felt like I keep saying I think this should be the co-main. I keep saying it's the second biggest fight on the card, in my opinion. But I feel a little bit like it's flown under the radar because I feel like you've kind of stayed out of the limelight a little bit. You've kind of, has that been a conscious decision on your part?
Firstly, I completely agree with you. I absolutely think it's the second biggest fight on the card. Obviously, when you put a title fight on the card, it's always huge. But there's so much eyes behind me and MVP in this fight. It's going to be huge. It's going to be massive. And to open the card and to really just start the show with a bang with two elite athletes going at it and a massive stage for Europe, I agree with you on that point. But absolutely, it's been a conscious decision. I've been doing a lot. I've been nonstop for the last, since I joined the UFC and before. I'm so active. And for me, it was time to just, right, take a refresh, slow down, really realign my focuses, my goals, my dreams, and my priorities. Spend more time with my kids, my family, be more grateful for the team I have, the adventures I'm traveling on. And then when it comes to fight week, right, put the head down and daddy's got to go to work. And that's the way it is. It's been really refreshing. This camp has been special and different. And yeah, I wouldn't have changed it any other way, Eric.
I was told that, and I think you might have mentioned this in a different interview, that like you didn't find out for 2-3 days that Conor was out because you were on some sort of golf retreat. Is that true? That's how disconnected you were?
Yeah. I have two phones. I have my English phone that is my normal phone. And then when we're in Brazil, I have a second one. That is my Brazilian SIM. I have that. I have nothing on that other than WhatsApp to message my family and my team. I have no internet, no Instagram, no social media. I literally completely disconnected myself from the outside world. And also when you think about obviously everyone loves to mention my name for clicks and stuff like that. And I just don't need to see stuff. I don't need to have the opportunity to pull my phone out. And we all do it these days where we end up scrolling and swiping and ending up on social media. Whereas I just went, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to really take a step back. And for me, I found out about Conor the night on the drive home after that golf retreat. I went away for a golf holiday just to super compensate, let the body, I've been working so hard, so focused. I took some time to really just rest, recover, swim, play some golf, go have 4 hours of walking on a golf course, really enjoy the weekends, enjoy the summer in Brazil and enjoy the weather, and just mentally lock in and focus and get ready for this event, because every fight I fight in, Ariel, they're always bigger and bigger and bigger, and there's always more to gain out of it. And I just feel like it needs focus. It needs just complete and utter visualization of what's going to happen, how it's going to happen, but also what it's going to look like after this fight.
And so what was your reaction when you found out?
Gutted, obviously gutted and heartbroken. I mean, there's two sides of it. There's the super fan, the kid that's emotionally and completely invested in Conor and everything that he does. And then there's my fighting career and everything that I am. The emotional part of me is I was so excited, to represent Ireland on the biggest stage alongside him is something I've been dreaming of. And it would have been a whole full circle moment of that kid that was sat at home at 16 years of age going, I can't wait to watch the fight. Where are we going? What are we doing? Who's coming out? Where are we watching the fight? To going, he sat on the same stage as me. We're sharing the same octagon the same night, and we're representing our country on the biggest stage, and we're flying the flag. Then there's the fighter in me is well, I fought on many stages without him, and I fought on many cards without him, and I have to go and do me. So it's that kind of seesaw, gutted, and I just hope that he comes back and everything heals well. And yeah, I just want to see him back. I mean, the sport needs to see him a couple more times. He's too big, he's too special, and his energy is different.
I said on the show that you had to be a part of that press conference, the one that was scheduled for the 3 Arena in early June. But then I heard that there wasn't any talk of that. I thought that was a huge missed opportunity. Obviously, the whole thing didn't happen. But you sitting up there with him would have been gigantic for you, for the country. Was there any sort of talk about that happening?
And there was no talk, at least between me and the UFC, about that. I would have absolutely loved it. I did get my management to put the feelers out and make sure we're game for this if it's a possibility. Because absolutely, when you have someone who is as big as Conor and brings as many eyes as Conor does, and then you have another kid in the UFC who's undefeated, number 7 in the world, one of the biggest prospects the sport's ever seen, it makes all the sense in the world to market me and Michael on that same stage as Chandler and Conor. It just makes so much sense from a marketing point of view, a business point of view, and to grow the brand of every single person on that stage. So if that happens again, I'm going to be there for sure, because I'm not missing out on that opportunity.
You were quite adamant before this was booked about not being interested in this fight. Ultimately, why did you agree to it?
I'm still not interested in it.
What?
I have no interest in it.
Why?
I've told you. Because here's the way I look at it. I'm undefeated. I've beaten everybody put in front of me in the best way I believe I can. And I go out there and I get my hand raised any way, shape, and form possible. That is my job. When I do that, I fight up because my goal is to be the world champion. I am looking at the guys above me. I'm looking at, again, there's 6, 7 guys ahead of me. There's Gilbert, there's Shavkat, there's Jack Della Maddalena, there's Kobe, there's Usman, Bilal, and Leon. Because all I've done in my career is win, I deserve to fight one of those guys. I have to fight one of those guys because that is my projection. I'm on a projection to be one of the world champions. I'm on a projection to be one of the biggest stars the sport's ever seen. I have no interest in fighting below me. I've already fought 15 in the world, 10 in the world, 8 in the world. Why on earth would I want to fight number 13? I still have no interest in fighting Michael. I have no interest in fighting him. So when I say to you, I wanted to kind of realign my focuses and everything like that, the shift of energies and the shift of focus for me is when I get that belt wrapped around my waist, I'm going to be fighting whoever the people believe is the next best guy worthy of that title shot. Whether he's 1, whether he's 2, whether he's 6, whether he's 9 in the world. And I want to put on them shows. So this is the first time I'm stepping into an octagon with that championship mentality of I am better than you, I'm going to prove it. And that is all my job is to go out there and prove that there's a reason you're ranked below me. There's a reason I'm ranked higher than you. And now it's to go out there and completely outclass MVP in any way, shape, and form necessary to get my hand raised.
So considering how you feel about it, has it been hard to get motivated for this fight?
At the start, yes. Because I was so excited, so buzzing to get that Kobe fight, to get Kobe to have the ability to punch his mouth in, to shut him up, to really just dog walk him. Like go out there and just destroy him in every way, shape, and form. But he ran and he said no. And it was hard to reshift that energy, reshift that alignment to go, right, who's next? And then I had a rake of opponents saying no. And then eventually we fell and MVP turned around after he said no initially and come back and said yes. So yes, it was hard, but now it's not. Now it's okay. I'm one of the best fighters on the planet. I'm going to go out there and prove it. And MVP is my example.
To the best of your knowledge, was an Ian Garry fight officially offered to Colby Covington, and did he say no? And if so, why?
Ariel, there's no, to the best of my knowledge, I'll send you the email.
Okay.
I was offered the fight. I was offered it in June 29, UFC 303, Ian Machado Garry versus Colby Covington. I responded back to that and said, yes, I had multiple calls with the UFC, multiple back and forths with the UFC about why it hasn't been accepted, why it hasn't been pushed, why it's not happening. I was on the phone so much to them because I knew that fight was the one I wanted. And I will push the fight I know I want. At the end of the day, I can't make a man step into the octagon with me if he's scared of him.
So because it didn't happen, are you going to push for it for, if all goes well on Saturday, are you pushing for it for the next one, or are you done with him?
I will never say I'm done with it because that man's talked too much shit to not step in that octagon and go out there and destroy him because he deserves to get the head slapped off him. However, I don't know if I want to give relevance to his name. I don't know sitting here right now if I ever believe he will accept a fight with me. I think Colby Covington looks at me and I think he sees the end of his career. A young, talented prospect, super sharp, super fast, super smart, and different to anyone else he's ever fought. That's scary when you're on the latter end of your career and you're just trying to stay relevant and beat people who aren't going to be world champions and aren't going to be the best. So I think he's going to look for other easier opponents. And I don't see a world where Colby ever fights me. But if he wants to, then by all means, back it up because you've talked too much shit to not get in that octagon.
And by the way, for the record, can you share the reason you were told as to why the fight wasn't made?
Honestly, there was so many different reasons that just didn't align in my mind. They said that at first it was we can't get a medical. Then it was, oh, he's fine. He wants to fight. He's on talking about I'll fight. But then he's not accepting it. So the truth is, I just think he's avoiding it. I don't think there's any one say. He's just avoiding the fight because he knows Ian Garry's too dangerous for me to step into the octagon with. I'll try wait and find someone else.
Okay. I understand.
But that's what happens, Ariel. That's what happens when you have these confident people who think they can back it up, but you give them the opportunity to stand in that octagon with you, and they go, actually, I do know this kid's better than me, and I do know if I step in the octagon, what's going to happen. And that's where the truth comes out. And to be honest, it's like I've already won the fight, if that makes sense. Kobe's someone who wants to get into people's head. He wants to cerebrally assess people and assassinate them in different ways and attack their family in vulgar, vile ways. Then when you get into the octagon, you're already in there with such anger and frustration. But I don't need anger and frustration. I fight with flow. I fight with enjoyment. I fight with full emotion. That when I go in there, it's easy. It's fun. It's everything I love to do. I told you before, I chose to be a fighter. This was my decision. I didn't have to do this. I chose to do this because it's what I love. No matter who I fight, Ariel, I have a good time. So whoever's next, whenever it is, you can guarantee I'm going to go out there and do exactly what I do every single time I show up. I put on a beautiful display of MMA, striking, skill set, mindset, and I get my hand raised.
I understand what you were saying earlier about MVP, but is it also fair to acknowledge that he's only had one fight in the UFC? Usually when you come in, it takes some time to work your way up the rankings. And name-wise, and maybe even skill-wise, biggest name you fought so far, best resume, and he could hang with some of those guys who are above you. Like, I don't think this is your typical lower-ranked guy. This is a veteran of the game. In fact, did you know, Ian, I think it's a fun stat, did you know that the night that you made your MMA debut over in Cage Warriors, he fought Paul Daly at Bellator 216. That's how long he's been in the game. That's a crazy thing, right? So, I mean,
he fought the guy with the most knockouts in MMA history.
And so, I mean, he's not your typical, like, run-of-the-mill lower-ranked guy, right?
No, he's not. And I do understand that about his career and everything he's done. But I also have, like, I don't want to sit here and say he's a Bellator take vibes. That's what everyone says about him coming in. We're going to show people it's different. That's not it. MVP was used and utilized in a very smart way by Bellator. We understand this kid's talented. We understand this kid can talk and he can sell fights. They gave him a very easy run of opponents to go out there and build his brand, build his promotion. And he was knocking out people he should have knocked out. And he was beating people he should have beaten. But when you look at him against, and you mentioned Paul Daly, when you look at him against former Cage Warriors champion Ross Houston, when you look at him against Logan Storley, a three-time NCAA champion, when you look at him twice against Douglas Lima and Kevin Holland, sure, he's looked great because he's a great fighter and he has a great specific talent, which is that points kickboxing karate style that's awkward and irritating. But he's not been able to finish these guys or dominate them in the way that he should, because these guys are elite, they're talented, and they find ways to understand his game and read his game. So I think he's had an amazing brand. He's had that opportunity where Brand has really put the brakes behind him. We're going to push you as much as we possibly can. And now he's here. And now he's fighting someone 11 years younger than him, someone who's far more talented in every facet of the game than he ever wished he could be. And it's my job to go out there and go, there's a reason that I'm this highly ranked. There's a reason why everyone talks about me and why before my Cage Warriors debut, you knew who I was. There's a reason why the people in MMA knew who I was. It's because of the talent and the hard work I have. Saturday night, June 29th, Ariel, I'm going to go out there and prove to the world against, like you said, the biggest opponent I fought, the biggest name I fought, on the on the biggest card I've ever fought on, because it was meant to be a kind of card. Everyone's excited for it. There's so many changes that everyone's interested in this card. I've still maintained on this card the whole time. And I'm ready to go out there and put on a show and really, really show people just how fucking good I am.
So how do you see it playing out mentally? How are you envisioning this going down?
So we have the opportunity to go out there and put on one of the greatest striking displays the UFC has ever seen. However, I think Michael's going to be very, very, very cautious. And if you go back and rewatch the Douglas Lima fight, the first 2.5 minutes of the first round, MVP threw 2 shots. I see it that being his game plan the entire fight. Super safe, super cautious, feinting a lot, moving that awkward movement that he uses to try pull people in and upset their rhythm, upset their motion. And he's just going to really wait until he sees the perfect time in his mind to strike. I'm going to show him that I'm better than him. When he wants to come in, I'm going to show him, cool, I'm better than you. When he wants to go out and fight at range, I'm going to show him I'm better than you at everything you do. Everything he's good at, I'm better than him at. This is absolutely one of those fights where I'm going to show my ego is absolutely there. You want to come in and dance with me? You want to talk shit? Let's go. All right, but be wary. I'm better than you in every single way, shape, and form.
Oh, man. I cannot wait for this. I know we're tight on time. Do you have time for 2 more?
Go ahead, sir.
Okay.
Anytime for you.
I appreciate it.
Considering I told you no like 4 times, I think it's only fair that I can give you 2
I was told, yes, I was told tight, so 100%, but I appreciate that. I don't know if you saw Paul Hughes on Saturday. Is there any part of you that sees that and says, man, I want that 3 arena. Why can't I have that?
So, firstly, I love Paul. Congrats to Paul. I briefly had a phone call on him. My strength and conditioning coach was on the phone to him, and I said it was beautiful. The first elbow to cut him open, and then it just got worse and worse and worse. The ground and pound was beautiful, and congrats to him. I'm proud of him. Absolutely. I've been shouting for this UFC return to Dublin. I've done everything I need to do to warrant that return to Dublin. You know, my brain when Conor had to pull out was, all right, maybe God's going to give us that opportunity to put on a show in Croke Park and break all the records and do everything we can together. Maybe we will get that Ireland return. So I'm going to keep pushing for it. I'm going to go back after this fight, after I get my hand raised. I'm going to go back to Ireland. I'm going to soak that energy one more time because it's so powerful and it drives me so much. But 100%, I'm going to fight in the 3 arena one day. I'm going to bring the UFC back to Ireland. And I'm going to do everything I've said I'm going to do in this sport.
A lot of people getting their licks in on Conor, especially for his decision to withdraw. What's your response to all those people who are getting their shots in now?
Go fuck themselves. It's not your life. And who are we to say that Conor should do something? If he broke his toe, which is what he said he's done, who the fuck are we to tell him to fight? By the way, can we just say this man's broken every record in the game? Holds every pay-per-view record, first 2-time world champion, arguably the greatest to ever do it from a point of view of bringing in audience to the sport, but not only bringing in an audience, engaging the entire world and knowing his name, putting on the biggest shows, the media tours, anything Conor does is 100 times bigger than anything anyone else in the UFC can do. He's that superstar. He's a megastar. He's transcended the game of MMA. If he's had to pull out, there is no one else on the planet more upset than him. And I've been in that situation where I've had to I've been medically withdrawn from a fight, not wanting to. I understand that sucked more for me than it did anyone else on the planet. Regardless of the fans, regardless of the UFC, regardless of everyone who's bought tickets, he's the guy who's been training for this fight. He's the guy who's been grinding to get back. He's the one who's going to hurt the most. So anyone who wants to get their shots in now, it's only because they're trying to just stay relevant by using his name. Conor, I love you. I want to see you back. I'm excited. Everyone in UFC, everyone in the MMA world is always going to be excited for when you're back. Recover, heal, wrestle, enjoy time with your family, and do you. Fuck everyone else.
9 years ago, International Fight Week, he kind of burst onto the scene against Chad Mendes, UFC 189. Here you are 9 years later, another Irishman, International Fight Week, in a massive fight, getting an opportunity to make a name for yourself. Well, thumbs up over there. How about that? Look at that little.
Yeah.
I don't know how that even happened. Maybe it was my fault. By the way,
I've seen this.
The T-shirt is great. Where can people get that shirt? I noticed it's a 15 over there, not a 14.
There's 15 because it's already written. Destiny is already written out. I just have to show up and walk my path, and everything will happen. 15-0, representing the Irish. I told you this. It was meant to be me and Conor. I'm still flying the flag. I'm still flying the flag for the Irish, and I'm going to scalp MVP on Saturday night. It's in the link in my bio. Go grab them. Represent Ireland. 15-0 incoming, baby.
Much love, Ian. Thank you so much for the time. Good luck on Saturday. Can't wait for it.
Aaron, I'm going to send you one on me, all right? I got you.
I appreciate it.
Love you.
Thank you, Ian.
Take
There he
care.
is. The great Ian Machado Garry joining us, the future, with a massive opportunity to really become the present on Saturday, UFC 303, Las Vegas International Fight Week. There's nothing quite like it. The scene, the vibes, the Hall of Fame, the UFC X, all that stuff. They do a great job with it. And it's a big-ass card. It's a big-ass card with a lot of attention and a lot of buzz and a lot of hoopla surrounding it. And it's obviously not the Conor McGregor show, but like I've said since they made the switch, they did a pretty damn good job of pivoting and putting in a great main event. And the card I still think is fantastic from top to bottom. I really do think it's fantastic. By the way, regarding UFC 303, DraftKings Sportsbook, the place to be for all your UFC 303 action. Yeah, UFC 303 going down this Saturday, Frankie. And you can get ready for a night full of big fights and big action with DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the UFC. Light heavyweight title on the line in the main event. Alex Pereira against Jiri Prochazka 2. So many more matchups, like we've said. MVP and Ian Machado Garry, Diego Lopez, Brian Ortega, Anthony Smith, Roman Dolidze, the return of Peyton Talbot, and so much more. By the way, if you're new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. So all you have to do is download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code THEMMAHour. That's code THEMMAHour for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Get that big fight feel only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Or in West Virginia, visit www.100gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino Resorts in Kansas. 21 plus age varies by jurisdiction. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Deposit and eligibility restrictions apply. See terms, eligibility, and responsible gaming resources over at dkng.co/MMA. You know, when I was reading that, whoops.
Reading what?
That ad read? What do you mean?
Well, because for the pod, they don't ever know that you were just reading it. So when you...
Oh, they think I was doing that off the top of my head?
Yeah. And then I thought what it was funny when he dropped it. It's like, what are you reading?
Oh, okay. No, listen, I appreciate you trying to
always thinking about the pod.
Yeah, no, for sure. And there are people, as we've learned, who are pod-only consumers.
And they get upset when there's no ad.
Do they get upset?
Nah, I don't know. I like to think they do.
Okay. In any event, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Rick, are we doing did we do International Fight Week draft?
Yeah, we've done it every year. I forgot about that.
Yeah, as I was reading this, I was like, wait a second.
Oh, yeah.
But
Did we do it last year? I don't remember.
Yes, we've done it every
Who,
year.
me?
1,000%.
All right.
But what did we do? We did because it's only one card.
Yeah, of course. There's only one card. Let's see.
Like back in the day. Oh, you know what? Did we include PFL last year?
Yeah, I think we did.
Maybe we do it for Wednesday, or did we just do the card itself?
Oh yeah, we're not doing it today. No shot.
No, not today.
Why? Why not today?
I'm not ready.
All right. So 2 years ago, excuse me, 2 years ago, we mixed in PFL as well because you drafted Kayla Harrison, and and Ray Cooper and Larissa Pacheco. Let's see if I can find 2023. But yeah, we did it. We did it last year, and we did it the year before that. All right, here we go. Last year's. No surprise, I won.
But how did we do it?
This looks like we just did. We just did UFC. We each got 4 picks, and it was a win is 3 points, a win by finish is 4 points, a win by first round finish is 5 points, and a loss by first round finish was -1 point.
Oh, yeah.
Was Frank involved?
Oh, yeah. Frank got smoked, man. Yasmin Yaragui -1, Jalen Turner 0, Yair Rodriguez 0, Dan Hooker 3.
Oh, that's right. Hooker
Whoops.
screwed up his arm. Okay. Was it us 4?
It was us 4. We each had 4 selections. And yeah, I mean, I smoked you guys. That's
Okay.
Tyra, Cameron Simon, Vitor Petrino, Alejandro Pantoja.
I'm down.
Easy
I'm
one,
down.
man.
I'm down.
Let's
Are you
do it.
guys
Yeah, man,
down?
I'm down. Why not?
Yeah,
why
let's do
not?
it.
Hell
What
to
do
the
we have to lose?
yes.
Should we get Juliana? Make it 5?
I mean, now we're running out of. There's
No,
only
I think we're
26
good.
fighters on the card. Wow. Good. You buy your Chiwiwis merch yet, Frank?
I have not.
Maybe
Thanks for
next year for
asking.
your birthday, I'll send one over.
Pretty soon it'll be yours.
Yeah. Pretty soon it'll be Ariel's. 2 weeks, I think.
What is that thing behind you over there on the left
This
side?
right here?
Yeah, what is that?
This is the big hitter set.
Oh,
Bringing it back finally. Yeah. Finally found it. Pulled it out.
You know what I thought that was? Honestly, I thought it was a picture of like a pitcher, like peach juice or something. It looks like a pitcher. See, doesn't that look like a pitcher being poured? Look at it.
Now that you mention it,
It looks-
no,
I don't
it
know.
doesn't.
It looks like
No.
I thought that was like
Yeah.
sangria. Like.
Actually, now that you bring it up, it definitely does not look like that.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, wait. You mean like a pitcher that holds liquid? Absolutely not.
Nah,
Yeah.
it looks like a picture that you cut up and you stuck it on the wall for some
Yeah,
reason. I
like,
mean, we need to do a little
Returned
bit
it
of
back
work.
to plastic and hung it up on the
Listen,
wall.
man, show by show,
We're adding.
we're chipping away. We're adding a little bit. Now we didn't have to do the blurred background this time. You know, everybody hated the blurred background. Now
Yeah, the white was definitely a step up from the blurred background.
yeah. Well, now you know all I heard was, oh, the microphone's getting blurred and your shoulder's getting blurred. This is the moneymaker right here. All right, this is all anyone's concerned about. We got a poster installed. It took hours to get it, and then we had our handyman in the CB studios and
Was the ink-
install that as
the
well.
Printer running at a toner there? Or
Yeah, it looks a little washed.
a little faded.
We just took the saturation down a little bit. What do you think? We have a Kinko's in the house?
Oh,
this
this was a
is
conscious
standard
decision.
printing.
Conscious decision.
And it's
Your
not
standard
full
printer,
bleed. You didn't cut
seen-
it with an
You
exact.
seen the prices of ink these days? Are you kidding me? You think I'm
In this
going full
economy?
bleed every single week? This thing is like completely yellow. I would have been out of yellow toner for the rest
Couldn't
of the
even
month.
counterfeit money with that printer if you tried.
Yeah.
You'd
Who
be like,
knows?
sir,
what it
this
would've
is some
looked like.
really faded money.
I think it's coming together. I mean, we got more decorations than Rick's spot.
A, that is a good point. B, definitely better than the blurred background. Because the
Yeah,
blurred
definitely a
background,
step
you
up.
move and then it starts covering your like half your shoulder, then it covers your microphone. It's an awful look.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to see bad printing, though, I tried to print out the Robert Whitaker picture, and it was real.
Damn.
It was real faded.
That is.
I'm not
Wasn't
gonna lie,
nearly as
it
cool.
looks better than the poster.
You might have used up all your ink with that one. I mean, that's a lot of
Yeah,
ink.
ink's out.
Yeah.
Ink's out. So we're gonna have to make it to the end of the month. Our ink quota is completely eliminated.
Should your parents
we
come
should-
and tell you like, look,
What's the shirt,
no
by the
more.
way?
This is my guys over at Storefront, a nice Irish brand. They sent this over to me. I've worn it many times. We've discussed Storefront, great brand. The
Definitely.
door to happiness opens from within.
Oh,
Got
wow.
a nice door on the back. But I mean, when I tell you I'm working here, like I am in a phone booth. I can't even turn all the way around. It's that cramped. I mean,
Is it a picture of a picture? Oh no, it's a door.
there it
Stop.
is. Yeah, I mean, the wall is right here, boys. I mean, I am jammed in here.
All right. Well, we were supposed to have Devin Haney on now. He's actually going to come on after Yuri at 4, which means I will swap things on the fly here. You guys can kind of tell when I'm like half texting and moving things around. Yes.
Yeah, you lobbed the picture
Right,
thing
when
out so
you're-
that they would talk about it,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you just
Right.
eject.
When you mean when you're completely texting and go. and
Yeah,
go
I feel like
silent.
no
Can
one
I-
actually like acknowledges it and just kind of like waits for me to speak. while
can
I'm
I
What do
watch
you want us to
somebody
do?
to acknowledge?
Well, I don't
We're-
know.
We're working through it. I mean, we're talking.
This is kind of
I
how
mean,
you are off air.
That's fucking.
Yeah,
it's like the
such
phone's
a
in your
lie.
hand.
Sometimes
is-
you just lob it up. You know, we're over here working. We're making magic happen behind the scenes in the tech, and you're just like talk amongst yourselves. And it's like, oh,
Yeah. Well, things happen. Things pop up.
I mean,
know?
you
Yeah, yeah,
you
of
handled
course,
that
you know.
well. So
Live
this
show.
entire time you were having
Working
a
on the fly.
conversation.
Yeah, I wasn't listening to anything you guys were saying. What did I miss?
Yeah, it's my mom's birthday.
Oh yeah, happy birthday.
Ian Gary is talking quite the promo.
By the way, that good shit from Ian Gary. What was the question? That was a great one. are you? Oh, you weren't into the fight going in. Like, what changed? I'm still not interested in the fight. I still feel. I don't know. I feel like that's.
I feel all the bad blood. I'm not interested in the fight.
Yeah.
The bad blood is just rising.
Yeah.
Not interested. Just.
I think that's good shit. I mean, I feel like he's being dismissive. Old guard. By the way, there's a bit of a theme lately, right? Bit of a theme of the old guard saying, "Not so fast." Y'all must have forgot. We had it with DP. We had it with Robert. MVP.
I feel like MVP doesn't feel old guard, even though he's old guard.
37.
His newness to the UFC. You know,
I think he's older than both of them. But I understand what you mean. I understand what you mean.
No, I don't know. I consider him old guard.
Do you understand what I'm saying though about the rankings? Like he's not your typical. I don't even know what he's ranked at the moment, but anyone who let me just get for the sake of this conversation. Anyone who comes in, he's 14. Like anyone who comes in to the UFC, they're not going to be put in as 3 or 5 or 4 off the jump.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So like to say he's below me, it's kind of because he's he's new. He only has one fight. Yeah.
Do we think he's in the top 5 though? I mean, that would be
not top 5, but I'd say top 10. The current top 10 is Usman, Bilal, Shavkat, Colby, JDM, Gilbert, Ian Machado Garry, Sean Brady, Wonderboy, Jeff Neal. Nah, he could be in that 8 to 10 slot.
I don't know.
Really?
We're about to find out.
And then still above him, Joaquin Buckley, Neil Magny, Vicente Luque. You don't think he beats those guys?
I'm pretty happy with where he's ranked. If I'm
really
based on that list,
he could be Vicente Luque.
He could be in that 8 to 10 range. He could be in that 8 to 10.
He could definitely compete with Joaquin Buckley as well, if not win the fight.
Brady Thompson, Neil. Debatable. But my point is, it's not like he's like a total bum who's ranked 14.
Here's a more interesting question: does he have a bigger name than those guys? And the answer is probably yes.
Yes.
See, that's where
that's why
the ranking matters that much. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait.
Hey, Frankie, bit of breaking news, Frankie. Just got I got a nice eagle-eyed view down onto the street.
Yeah.
The FedEx you sent me just got here, Frank.
Oh wow.
Now we're talking.
What did he send?
Actually, an arm for this mic. We're just going to continue to improve this space here.
What do you mean by arm? Oh, like one of these things?
Yeah, the mic. Oh yeah, we're gonna get.
No. I sent you Mike's arm.
Oh, someone.
Oh man.
Wow. That is actually a pretty good setup. I don't even think does Rick have one of those?
I've had a home setup for years now, and nobody sent me anything. So
hey, you start covering your face up with the mic. We'll make.
Frank saw me on camera for 2 seconds and said, "Let's get you an arm sent."
Yeah,
but it got lost.
Nice to know where I fall in the pecking order.
Worried about it.
I like it.
But I just saw the guy. He walked it right up to the door. It was great.
Okay, so because of the switch, let's do the betting recap now, and then we'll get to Jiri, and then we'll get to Devin. How about that?
Yeah, let's do it.
How did the pals do, guys? How did the pals do?
Yeah, how did the pals do?
The pals did great, but I did not.
Yeah,
I cost us. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie. I started counting the chickens before they hatched. After we got that Gaslam Rodriguez over 2.5, I was like, boys, we done did it again. We just continue to stay hot. And then no finish came in the Pavlovich Volkov fight.
So that's what happened. I have to say, it's impossible for me to see
the green on green.
Yeah, the green on green is tough.
But you see the red,
man,
right?
I'm sorry, this is bad for the colorblind, huh?
Oh, it's just.
I mean, it's giving me a headache just looking at it.
It just looks green. It just looks all green. So the
all
one
I see is
I appreciate you guys finally giving some feedback on the graphic after we've been doing.
No, I never.
No, it's cool.
I'm never able to. I'm never able to.
Cool. I'm glad you brought it up. Now
I
find out everybody just hasn't been able to see anything for this whole time. Huh?
Well, I'm looking at it, like 15 feet away. I don't know what Frank's excuse is. He's right there.
I've always gotten like a sick feeling. I just didn't know it was from this, and now I'm like, oh yeah, that's that nausea. That's where it's coming from. Love you, Connor.
All right, so another one.
So the Parlay Pals lose.
Okay.
I unfortunately did not do well either. Just needed one more win and it would have been a winning week. Yeah, long split decision hurt. On a nice streak of split decision losses lately, it's getting to the point where once I hear it's a split, I'm just like, I'm losing this one. losing this one, boys. Antonio Carlos Jr. couldn't get it done for me. You know, that also would have flipped us to a winning week. So a small losing week here over at UFC Saudi Arabia. Is what it is. Still up 90 units all time. You know, gonna try and bounce back here on UFC 303. Keep chipping away at that 2024 number. But just because I lost doesn't mean we didn't have some big hitters. I got just a couple to shout out here.
Nope. There's Devin.
My bad.
Yeah, no problem.
That was Devin Haney.
It's good to see him.
He's excited.
It's good to be seen.
All right, so I'm just going to shout out a bunch of people because there was something in the water. The secret was out. I don't know what was going on. The amount of tickets, and I didn't get that many this week, but the amount of tickets that I got that were Felipe Lima in round 3 and Felipe Lima by submission in round 3 was jaw-dropping. I mean, the guy has never had a submission in round 3 in his career. And we got Dravi, who put 45 Canadian dollars into 2,200, almost 2,300. And he took him in round 3 as well. MMA Propahala. Felipe Lima by submission plus 1,200. Felipe Lima by submission and round 3 plus 5,000.
Damn.
Shout out to him. It doesn't stop there. It's Mikey R09, our guy Mikey. Felipe Lima to win by submission in rounds 2 or 3 plus 2,200. Felipe Lima to win by submission and round 3 plus 5,000 as well. It continues. I mean, I'm talking, I got maybe 20 slips sent to me this week, and 10 of them were Felipe Lima by submission in round 3. Capping service threw $171.86 on the submission round 3 to win 8,764. He also put 460 on Lima in round 3 plus 1,400 to win almost 7,000. I mean, just by that choke, by this choke right here, he profited almost $15,000. And there's a couple more here as well. Kenya, he did Felipe Lima to win by submission in rounds 2 or 3 plus 2,200. And then our guy Michael B gambling. Felipe Lima to win round 3, 75 into 1,100. Felipe Lima to win by submission in round 3 plus 4,500, 100 into 4,600. And then another one when it was at plus 5,500, 60 Canadian dollars into 3,300. I mean, shout out to all these people. I think that's 7 different people that had this. I mean, shout out the moment of the weekend for the gamblers. We actually do have a big shitter this weekend.
What?
Bad beat of the week.
Wow.
Shout out.
You're doing it?
Plus 90,333 that would have turned $5 into over 4,000. PD parlays, my guy Pete. We're not factored off by points. Felipe Lima by submission, something in the water. Nasrat by points. Kelvin Gastelum by points. Volkov, Whitaker. But unfortunately, Johnny Walker does not come through. So he does not get it. Bad beat of the week, the big shitter, PD parlays. But the good news is he saved himself by taking Felipe Lima to win by submission in rounds 2 or 3 plus 2,100. Played it twice, $30 total into 660. So it was still a winning weekend for him. It was all good. Shout out to PD parlays and all the big hitters and the big shitter.
By the way, is that official? Because I thought that you were letting that other guy do the big shitter.
Well, yeah, he can do it, but when I see the opportunity, I have to capitalize.
Yeah,
on it.
no, that's great.
I mean, that's tough. That's tough. Plus 90,000. And it all relied on Johnny Walker.
Oh my God. And it's
That hurts.
a spectacular knockout. Like it wasn't
that hurts
just,
bad.
I don't know what's worse, spectacular knockout or losing a close decision. Probably just might as well like get the heart ripped out by the knockout, right?
Yeah, I'd rather have the knockout because then you're just like, oh, it's done.
Yeah.
If you leave it in the hands of the judges, then you can bitch and moan about it for weeks.
Yeah. Sort of like I'd rather the Knicks get blown out in game 7 than lose by a buzzer beater, you know?
100%. 100%.
By the way, when I was looking at this camera angle here and then I looked at Rick, I was like, what's going on? Is there like a confetti on his head? What's happening here? You know,
So,
that,
That's his headphones. A little bit.
I had to mark the headphones so he knows which ones.
Oh,
go
that-
in the
So you didn't
program.
even
We've
hear what you
talked
said
about
there.
this before. I
the,
mean,
the yellow was very jarring.
I don't know why I was on camera at that moment, but we've talked about this
Wait,
before.
what's the difference between the headphone?
Yellow is for my computer, like clips, listening to things, re-racking stuff as I was doing right there, not camera ready. And then this headset without the yellow is for when I'm talking to you lovely people.
Okay, fair enough. I wasn't trying to make it into a thing. I was just.
No, it's come up before.
Has it?
Yeah.
So the term we
for
use
sure.
is high vis.
I love Viz. I love Viz. I
Are we
love when
allowed to
someone
use
sends me
that term?
something for Viz.
Oh.
You know?
Yeah, or
Oh, that's
adding
the
so and
best.
so for Viz.
Yeah. Yes.
Sending this for Viz.
I just saw something here. We're going to be joined by Devin Haney in 45 minutes or so. This is from Michael Benson, who I'm still not quite sure is a real human being, but he's
I would love an interview with Michael Benson. I mean, I've seen the guy tweet 20 billion times. Don't know one thing about him.
Michael Benson, Kaposa. Like, I need like a round table of all these guys,
Oh, that'd be amazing. Get Jedi Goodman to host it.
That would be hilarious. And a brilliant one. Another one. There's a bunch of those who do a great service, who we love dearly. Anyway, the WBC have now made Devin Haney the WBC super lightweight champion in recess and upgraded Alberto Puello from interim to full WBC world champion. They have also ordered Puello to defend versus Sandor Martin next, with Gary Antoine Russell mandatory for the winner. So it sounds like Devin Haney's days of, I mean, who knows what's going on, but it didn't seem like he was all that interested in fighting Sandor Martin, and so we could get his thoughts on all of that. Did you guys happen to see Ryan Garcia this weekend? It's like every hour there's something with Ryan Garcia, but he was playing in some sort of like celebrity poker tournament. What was this thing? And he was sitting next to Jimmy Butler, and it looked like Jimmy Butler was like a dad who was at a function with his son, who wasn't acting up and was trying his hardest not to smack his son in the head, but he really wanted to do it. You know what I mean? Like, he was trying so hard to ignore him, and Garcia was just acting.
It's a tough spot too, because I mean, this is a professional boxer. Like, it's not like you can really like.
That's true.
You can't like fight the guy. I know Jimmy Butler's 6'7" and an amazing athlete, but like, it is a professional boxer that you're sitting next to.
What was
yes,
this
I did
thing?
see. It was like a WPT World Poker Tour like celebrity. Do we have a clip from it?
Oh, let's see it.
Like a little highlight clip.
Cheers. Is he gonna chug that whole thing? All right. Only half of it.
6,000 with nothing. But
It's just like how
A diamond would be insane.
Jimmy is unflappable.
I'm different.
Oh, man.
Slow rolling him.
What?
I think it was hosted by Ninja the Gamer.
Oh, yeah, my guy.
Tell me how you're feeling with this table.
It feels great. I love Jesus, and I'm feeling great.
Yo, his pants are
Pants just falling off.
I'm happy the money went to you. Thanks, bro. Because you have a lot of girls, and I do too. Start off like this.
Oh, just fucking shitting like it?
Yeah.
Let's talk about Devin Haney. What are your thoughts on him?
He slept with B. Diddy.
Oh,
Had
geez.
massive sex with him. Then I beat his ass. Then he sues me.
Oh, my God. What is going on?
I don't know, man.
I don't know why.
I mean, he's just fired out of a cannon when he gets in front of a camera.
In front of the camera or not. Again, people are. After the fight, I said, all the sanctimonious people were like, he shouldn't fight. And then people were saying, oh, he was just trolling. He was never just trolling. He should have fought. And now he's not trolling again. Like, they're not two mutually exclusive ideas or thoughts, but I just don't know what to make of all of this. I don't know if this is just like him just being, I don't know, on stuff, drinking. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what to make of it at this point, because he's still such a young guy.
Legit question. Do we need to have a take on what to make of it? Like, at this point, he's done enough of this behavior that this is just who Ryan Garcia is. I don't really care at this point.
He's 25.
Like,
Well,
he is who he is.
I guess, yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Like, we don't need to read. I don't think there's much substance or depth to this. Like, I don't think we need to read too deeply into it.
Maybe there's
Just-
substance. There's substance in him.
Substance is for sure. But like, he is who he is. He's this character at this point. Like, whether it's an act or not an act, like,
It's
I don't
definitely not an act. I guess what I was saying was like, how did we get here? Because like before the Tank fight, he was not this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was never known as this kind of.
Yeah, he was more professional. He was more measured. He was not this.
So I'm not really saying that like we need to have a say, or I know plenty of other people are, on how he's acting. I just kind of wondering like how we got here at such a young age, you know? Usually it's like a 35-year-old that's acting this way, or someone who's a little bit past their prime. He's squarely in his prime. And now he's going to be out for a year. Now the suspension is retroactive to April 20th. So it's, you know, we're I guess 10 months away.
I think part of how we got here is he's been rewarded for it, right? This behavior has gotten him more attention and more money than anything he was doing previously. So why stop? Why rein it in when
has it gone?
I
guess it has to a degree. I mean, he was still
But
pretty
he seems
damn
to be
popular.
having fun doing it.
Yeah.
Like,
he was popular, but you don't think he's more popular now after the Haney
he was
fight
not
and-
having viral clips of him like 2 or 3 times a month. Like, I mean, I saw some of these clips from the poker thing getting hundreds of thousands of likes on all different platforms on
really?
social media. Oh yeah. I want to say the video that we just played had like 100K likes on Twitter.
Yeah, whatever that means. He's so talented and he's so young that I just hope that this doesn't derail his entire. I'm not saying he has to be a choir boy. I'm not saying he can't have fun. I'm not saying he can't drink. I'm not saying he can't smoke weed. He can do whatever he wants. Because he is so young, he's able to do that and still be successful. We saw it with John Jones, among others. But I just don't want him to go completely off path because he still has, you know, he's a dad and he's still such a. I think he's a good person deep down inside. And I'm not saying that this is an indication that he's not a good person, but it's just kind of, it's like, wow, this is a completely different human being than the one that we saw leading up to the Tank Davis fight.
Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying. We want better for him than he potentially wants for himself, but like, this is it. This is what we got.
Do you think that they will run it back?
Hell yeah.
I think it will be gigantic.
Be massive. And this is my point, right? Like the reward for this behavior is a rematch, even though you just got suspended and even though they're taking money from you, and now you're going to have an even bigger opportunity and a bigger fight against the guy you already beat. I mean, he's doing something right if the goal is to make a lot of money. I think it'd be massive.
If you're Devin Haney, do you take another fight between now and then?
No. I don't want to give Ryan Garcia any opportunity to look in another direction.
Bigger fight. Haney Garcia 2, Tank Garcia 2.
No, Haney Garcia 2 by a million.
That's crazy in a way, right? Because Tank on his own is such a big star.
Yeah, I mean, Tank is going to beat Ryan. Like we kind of know that.
At 140,
he like soundly beat him. Like he knocked him out.
But there was stuff at play there. The hydration,
the hydration clause was a factor, certainly. But if I'm
now
Tank,
the argument here is let's have it on an even playing field. That's going to be Devin Haney's argument in the build up to this rematch if they do it.
You can see a path to a more competitive fight for Haney more so than you can see one for Garcia to Tank. Also, I just think like Ryan's the A side right now. Ryan's the guy. Like it's kind of on his shoulders as far as the promotion and build to these fights. So, yeah, if I was Haney, I wouldn't risk it. I don't want to give Ryan an opportunity to be like, you lost and I beat you already. Like, why do I want to fight you? I don't want him to. Ryan will want to take his undefeated record again, right? Like that would be an opportunity for Ryan Garcia next time. Something actually on the line. Hey, I can beat Haney and show that it wasn't like that. O is gone again. I wouldn't jeopardize that.
Damn, it would be really big. It's a shame that we have to wait so long for it. I thought it was going to be a huge rematch before we even found out about the failed drug test. You know what I mean?
Me too.
And now with all this, and
just the missed weight, it was going to be
just the missed weight, it was going to be huge. Just the fact that he missed weight and then beat him and looked as good as he did in the fight, I was like, this has to be the next fight now. Yeah. And then you find out about all of this, and who knows where they'll both be at this time, next year in April. Oh man, I mean that's like a big time T-Mobile fight or Staples fight.
You could put that anywhere. It's going to be the interest in that would be massive.
Yeah, and it's a crossover fight. Like it's a fight that I think the general sports fan, now that Ryan especially has done so much, and this saga doesn't seem to be going away, with Haney threatening to sue him, saying that his stock has gone down, his brand has gone down. That's why the purse bid. He said this to Dan Raphael, because the purse bid was so low. He's saying that his marketability has gone down. I can't even imagine all the shit talking between now and then. I wanted to ask him about this. I noticed that Haney deleted all his pictures on Instagram except for 2.
Yeah. He posted again like a third one, but it feels like since the reset of him back to 31-0, he's deleted everything before that.
Why do you think? What's the thought process there?
Gonna have to ask him.
I know.
Clue.
Do people so when you do that, do you lose them all forever?
No, he probably just archived them. He could bring them back if he wanted to, but it is also weird the juxtaposition between his Instagram having 3 posts now and his Twitter, which he was just unloading on last week. Like he tweeted 80 times last week.
Who was it that went on Twitter last week and said, "I forgot how fun this was"? Was it Devin Haney? Someone tweeted up a bunch last week and said, "I forgot how fun all of this was," and was talking shit.
It might have been because he was getting a decent amount of hate. Like when he dropped the 31-0 and the dancing video in the bowling alley.
Yeah.
Like people were definitely talking shit to him. I mean, he says that the hate's just making him bigger. So,
But by the way, why does he deserve any hate? Like, what did he do wrong in all of this?
He didn't do
Nothing.
anything wrong.
Why are people hating on him?
Oh, I just think it's the fact that he lost the fight. I was there in Brooklyn.
Yes.
Like I understand the drug test and everything. You were there as well. Like he lost the fight and now it's 31-0 and he's celebrating this 31-0. So I mean, a lot of people. I feel like the number one response was him after getting the picture of him after he got dropped and like his face was sort of in shock. I feel like people are just annoyed by that fact that like he lost the fight, but he still retains the 31-0 record and he's celebrating that.
Okay. I mean, it is sort of, brushing over the fact that there's PDs involved.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, the internet isn't the most logical place to get into a discourse about that.
Yeah. No, I can understand. I just didn't understand where all the hate was coming from.
I think people want him to just lay down and be like, "Yeah, Ryan Garcia beat me."
Yeah.
That's what people actually want.
Yeah, which he's never going to do. And
which he should not
until
do.
Until they have a rematch, he's going to say, "Let's fight on a level playing field where Ryan Garcia is not cheating and I'm going to beat him."
That's what his detractors want, is him to just be like, "Ryan beat me, fair and square, weight, PEDs, whatever," and just accept it. And just never pretend the result was the result. But he shouldn't. But I think he's people love Ryan Garcia. People are really invested in him and that fight and why the rematch would be massive.
I do wonder, and this is something that I would love to ask him, I do wonder if he regrets going through with the fight. If I know he made some money, obviously a lot of money, and will stand to get more, but was it worth, missing the weight and, fighting a guy who missed weight by that much, who was potentially knowingly on PEDs? Was it worth it? Because now he feels like the brand has gone down.
But doesn't he win in a certain sense? Like, he's still undefeated.
Sort of.
There is a taint on the fight, and he gets a rematch that might be worth quadruple. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Right.
I feel like he won pretty big in the equation.
Gosh, and if he wins the rematch, all he has to say is just like, "Yep, he didn't cheat this time, so I won."
It's really going to depend on the next one, whether he will regret it or not.
Yeah.
That will really depend on the next one.
That's fair.
Yeah. Now that we talk about it more, I'm just like, it's an incredibly intriguing fight.
Oh my God.
I hope it happens.
So
It's just like if Ryan Garcia goes out there and does it again, and like maybe he actually even finishes him this time. Like there's just so many ways the fight can go, and just so many different outcomes that come from it.
Either outcome,
that's the fight to make.
Either outcome is amazing. Either outcome is amazing. If Ryan Garcia goes out there and beats him again, it'll blow people's minds. If Haney comes back and smokes Garcia, it'll be like, wow, it really was XYZ, the weight, whatever was in his system. Like, it's just perfect. It's a perfect fight.
Man, the buildup would be so good.
So good.
The press conferences.
So
and by the way, they're also really good boxers. I know that's kind of secondary, but they're also like really good boxers. That'd be fun.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the first fight was tremendous. I mean, Devin Haney had some really solid rounds before like he started getting dropped.
The first fight was one of the best fights of the year.
Yeah, it was a fantastic fight. We need to see it again.
Especially since it was like holy shit, this is actually happening.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
It's just like,
But-
dropped him once, then dropped him again and again. It's crazy.
But this thing exists in its own little universe, because then outside this universe, it's like actually Tank Davis is the guy. Like Tank Davis is really the guy.
And so
This
with that
thing
said,
is-
you
this thing's
still
outside.
you still feel like Tank Davis is a as far as like notoriety, a lesser fight than this one. Tank.
I think Ryan, the attention on this specific pairing is just too much to ignore, and the drama and the storyline for this is too big to ignore. I think Tank is the best boxer in this conversation, and I think Tank is probably like a bigger, like, if you don't have the drama, right? If you're just putting them in there as a boxing fight, then Tank is the bigger draw, and has proven like he can headline pay-per-views and be that guy. But when you have this pairing, you have to take advantage of it. You can't top that.
Daniel Rosenman is celebrating his 1-year anniversary on the live stream. He says Ryan said he's retiring after the announcement of the suspension.
Yeah, Ryan says a lot of things.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I will believe that when he's gone 3 years, 5 years without a fight. Then I'll believe that.
Yeah.
A fighter has never said that they're retiring and then come back and fought again.
It's never
maybe-
happened.
Yeah,
maybe-
especially in the midst of something like this, right?
Especially with the personality of Ryan Garcia.
Nope. Never happened.
By the way, AIM661 says, I think Ariel and Rick are understating just how much Haney's stock has fallen.
In what regard? Like, what do you mean?
The bowling video wasn't it.
To make it a big fight, he means? Or he means just like people not liking Haney? Because I'm very aware of it. I don't think that that's untrue. Haney's stock has taken a big hit, but he's undefeated. And as I said, if he wins the next one, his stock will be right back up. That's the thing. It's all about the payoff of that second fight.
He adds, Haney went on a Jamal Hill-esque post-fight handling of the loss.
No. Don't agree with that. Don't agree with that.
What's he mean by that? Jamal Hill-esque.
Also, like,
I mean,
Devin
on the socials.
Devin, here's to your point, right? Devin is the victim. Devin did nothing wrong here.
He posted a 15-second video of him dancing.
Well, I'm not going to defend the video.
I mean,
in the bowling alley with the video.
What I'm going to defend is he fought a guy who blew weight badly, was compensated for it, so I have no issue with that, and then had something in his system that the athletic commission deemed as a performance enhancer. So, like, what did Devin do wrong? Devin did nothing wrong. I understand people wanting the outcome to be different and wanting him to, like, Ryan to have won and Devin to just be like, yeah, he did it. Congratulations. But, like, Devin was the victim here. He's doing exactly what he should do.
Well, hopefully we'll talk to him in about 30 minutes' time. For now, let us turn our attention back to UFC 303. Had Ian Machado Garry on earlier, and now we talk to one half of the main event. Oh my gosh. 3 weeks ago, this was not a part of the card. Now here they are fighting again. They fought back in November at Madison Square Garden, and we are getting the rematch in 5 days' time. Alex Pereira, Jiri Prochazka, 2 for the light heavyweight title. Here he is, the pride of Czech Republic, your friend and mine, Jiri Prochazka. Hello, Jiri. How are you?
Hey, how are you? Great. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. I know it's been a very hectic time for you, so I appreciate you giving us a few minutes of your time in Las Vegas. You look very tanned over there. You're getting some sun in Las Vegas.
Yes, because I'm already 1 week here. So more than 1 week for acclimatization to finish the training camp, short training camp, and sun is here. Sunshine is every day. I'm watching the sun rising, sun, everything. So it's for me, it's important to be connected with the nature, especially when you need to get your body like in this timeline.
Yes. And so what a saga this has been. Could I ask, when did you first catch wind that you might, or get a phone call or something that you might be a part of this card? We were supposed to get that press conference with Conor McGregor on June 3rd, and then it got canceled. And then there was all kinds of rumors as to whether or not he would stay on the card. When did you first get a phone call saying you might be called upon to fight on this card on June 29th? Do Do you remember?
Yes. Who it was around like 1 week before Pereira accept. 1 week before Alex accept the fight.
So they
and when the UFC called me by my manager, I already said yes. And then I thought, fuck, man, it was a good decision. It was a good decision to go there because they told me about some complication around McGregor and about Connor, and I already said yes. Let's go. Doesn't matter what. It's a title chance. I'm not here to wait for anything, and I believe I'm ready.
And you were preparing for August 17th, right? That was the plan, you fighting in Perth against Alex?
Yes, that was in the plan. The first negotiation was about the October Abu Dhabi, then the August Australia, and then came the here Vegas.
And so I heard that you said yes like a week before Alex. Like Alex only really said yes the day it was announced a week later. Was it a yes right away for you, or did you go talk to your team? Did you go train?
No. I just pick up the phone. Manager asked me if something bad with Connor is. Are you ready to jump in 29 June? I said yes. Okay, let's go.
Wow. And
and after that, I said myself, man, why I didn't think about that a lot. I said yes because I believe. I believe that's all.
so that was the question I was going to ask you. Why did you say yes? Because you were still promised a title shot, and obviously you fought him once, so this could be maybe your last chance against him. You want everything to be prepared. Why did you feel like this was the right call?
Doesn't matter. Last chance, first chance. Doesn't matter. I am yes man. I'm the yes man, and I believe in the chances, and I believe in the spontaneous decision.
Mm. And so that week where you had said yes, but you were waiting to see what would happen with Connor, and if he would say yes, did you then start to train as though you were fighting June 29th?
Oh, yes. I started train. I started train. But the camp was not like full, but like there was like 2 weeks of good work. So I think everything is settled.
So here you are, you've accepted it, and he is in Australia on like a tour, and he had broken a toe before 300 and then during 300. Are you surprised that he said yes to the fight?
I was a little bit surprised by that. Yeah, I can say yes because I don't know what was the reason he said yes, if the money or something else. But like to me, with me, communication with me from UFC was like they gave me some like better how to say. I don't want to be concrete, but we negotiate about some like better money, better
Perks.
whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it was with Alex.
Okay.
So,
But you like the deal, you like the situation,
but
you're at peace with it.
yes, sure. But I didn't know about the money or whatever when I accept that. So for me, that this is not so important because the main point is to get the title and bring it back to Czech Republic.
Mm-hmm. I saw the photos of you right after it was announced. You're in tremendous shape. Could I ask, how much did you weigh when you said yes? Because it looked like you were, I mean, there was no fat on you. I saw you in the water over there, and you were like chiseled.
Man, Ariel, I'm still in training. I'm still in all the year because that's my lifestyle. I like to be prepared all the year, not just before the fight. But that's my lifestyle. That's my lifestyle. Like we spoke about that many times. So
Yeah. I saw
that's
you.
it.
I saw you went back and did the 3 days in the darkness and everything. You just did it like in May, right?
Yeah.
How was it?
It was great. Without food,
Oh gosh.
3.5 day. Just you, just water, you training, and spend the time with your best ideas, best motivation. Go through your fear, and that's all.
What kind of training
That's
can
all.
you do in the dark? How do you train?
There is a like small place. You have the bed there, the shower, the toilet room, and in a few minutes when you shut the lights, then you recognize everything there because you have the senses like of the touch. So you recognize everything. So you can shadow boxing, breathing technique, uh, visualize, working with visualization.
It's so incredible. I don't think I'm mentally strong enough to do something like this for 1 day, maybe even 2 hours,
It's
let alone 3
man,
days. You're unbelievable.
man, it and it is much easier than you can think because it's just about to be a friend to yourself, and then gently, step by step, you will do whatever.
It's unbelievable.
So
Once a year you do
yeah.
it or more than once a year?
Oh man, I need to right now. I recognize I need to do that every time after the fight.
Oh, after.
After the fight or before the fight, it's necessary to clean your focus, to clean your focus. Yeah.
What do you
To be
think is
clean.
more effective, before or after the fight? What do you like better?
Everything. Like before the fight, I like to be focused, to clear my focus by training, by discipline, by repeating the exercises. And after a fight, because there is every time a lot of things what happened, yeah, a lot of experiences what you need to include in your life, and there you have a time, just you and your thoughts, your memories, and then you can connect to your best yourself and be that.
In a way, Jiri, is this almost more exciting for you because you pride yourself on being a pure martial artist who's ready and in shape all year long, and so instead of a 3-month training camp, here you are 2 weeks. Let's go to battle. Let's defy the odds and prove that we are ready all year long. Does this kind of interest you more than 3 months fight game build up, all that stuff?
Yes, yeah, that's right. And I believe in that. I was born like a warrior, and not I believe in that. I am the warrior, and this is just about when the situation and the things around you came like that. You have to say just yes, to react what happened. Yeah, because when something happened on the street, you need to react in right now, right here, right now. And that's something what I like on the short notice, because you need to react right now, right here. Show me your best right now. That's all.
Yeah, it feels like you were bred for this. Like a warrior doesn't get told, "Hey, 3 months you're going to go to war." You go to war
Yes,
tomorrow.
because yes, sure, because there is a preparation, there is a lot of thinking about the strategy, about no, now just show me what's the best in you right now.
I remember when we spoke after the MSG card, and you said you didn't think it was an early stoppage, but now that you've prepared for the rematch, do you sort of feel like you were robbed of a chance to win that fight? And is that part of the motivation to right the wrong from November?
Yes, not just a chance. I will win the fight.
Okay.
I will win that fight, and I believe in that, and I will do that. That's all. I will not step in the fight when I will not believe in that, in myself, in that, and I already accept that I will do everything, and right now is the great chance to show that.
I know going into that fight, you were a little bit banged up and you couldn't train very much. Could I ask, like, how's your body feeling now? You fought in April. You seem to be in great shape, but like, do you feel like you're relatively healthy, healthier than when you fought him in November?
Even if my body will be whatever, I will tell you right now, I'm fine. Everything is fine. Everything is settled.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, are you going to look to target his toes? Because he had 2 broken toes.
Who?
Alex.
Yeah. Yeah. That's that thing. Okay. I hope he's healthy right now, and we can do our best.
Could I ask what lessons you learned about him as a fighter in November? Then now you have a chance to feel him out. You've been in there with him. What kind of a fighter is he?
A true warrior who lived his way, like his warrior way, and that's something what I like on him. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. But I believe I remember that these uh, these parts from the fight, before the fight, and I learned a lot from these moments, and right now is about to use that. Especially when I saw him before the fight with on a 300 card.
What did you see there?
I saw how he's working against Jamal, and after the fight with Jamal, and I don't want to be like bad in that, but I think he allows things believe in a help of spiritual things. Yeah, and that's something what I think he can't fight without, because I want to keep that in a clear line. Just the sport performance, pure performance, man versus man. And I think he don't know to fight without that. So because he used that these things every time. So I think right now I'm looking forward for that.
Sorry. By the way, the wink was great. The spiritual things. What do you mean by that when you say spiritual things?
So everybody knows he is working with some shamanics, with some shamans.
Yeah.
From his like hometown.
Yeah.
And he believes in some like spiritual help from them.
Okay.
I believe too, but I believe in the best performance, in the human performance right here, right now, without no magic. And let's see if the Alex still be work like that, because it's working. But I believe in a clear way, and I will do that. I want to win by that way.
Wow. By the way, the when you guys were being announced by Bruce Buffer in the cage, the shot of you two looking at each other, iconic, because you're so stoic, you're so focused. Can you tell us what, if anything, is going through your mind in that moment when you're looking at him before the fight?
There is nothing to think about. There is nothing to think about. There is a pure self-confidence, because the self-confidence is everything. And calm, pure instinct of hunting. Yeah. And the mind is just like processor of strategy behind, which is working, still in working. But the main thing is the present moment. That's the main point.
I saw you post something. There was like a big bonfire, and you wrote tradition, big fire. What does that tradition signify? Do you know what I'm talking about? You posted a picture with a big fire.
Yeah.
What is the tradition?
Yeah, that was the really important moment of me this year. It's named like the burning the witches. It's like our tradition in Czech Republic, burning the witches, which is the mean is like the end of the winter.
Oh.
And the start of the spring, and burn the old and let the grow the new one. So that's something what was for me important.
I love it. And I also saw you punching the wood outside. How often do you do that?
Wood, the wood, that's, you mean the makiwara, yeah? The makiwara, the karate technique, makiwara.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're showing it right now. Incredible. I don't know if you can see it as well.
That's something what's helped me to improve the strength of the body, like to from one shot to another shot. Yeah, to every shot, to give the full power to stabilize your body in a technique. And I'm using a lot of these like Japanese, Chinese, a lot of technique which is helping me improve my performance of my body.
It's amazing. And I love to see all the love that you're getting. Like when you went to that Octagon show, all the fans showing you so much love in Czech Republic in the stadium. It's amazing to see how the people have gotten behind you.
Yeah. I'm very glad for that, and happy to show my best.
By the way, before this fight, are you going to go back to the arena, like we saw you before 300, to get the energy? Are you going to do that again?
Sure. Yeah. Yes. Because I like to be close to the fighting place, and to just see that, feels the energy from the moment what have to come. Yeah. and that's the thing.
Can I ask? And the only reason I ask this, Jiri, and I'll let you go in a minute. The only reason I ask this is because I'm so. I find you to be such an interesting and fascinating person, and I respect so much the way you are so disciplined and how you have such a strong mind and will, and you've become one of the most beloved fighters in the sport. And I'm just wondering if, and I hope you don't find this to be like too personal, but like, do you allow yourself to just kind of go out and have a good time and I don't know, go on a like or are you always so intense?
Understand.
Do you know what I mean? Like, do you have a partner? Do you have
yes, sure.
Do you have a love life? Do you have hobbies? Do you have other things? Because everything is so intense from you and so it's so commendable. I'm so impressed by it, but I just want we never see you other than like this intense. So I'm just wondering, do you have that side of you? We just don't see it.
And it's like it's few year I just accept this lifestyle, and I promise to myself I will do everything to achieve the mastery, to be the like really master of my field. And that's something what is in my mind, what is like, that's me, that's my soul, that's my lifestyle. So that's why I'm doing that. That's why I have to wake up in the morning and go run and then meditate. And because when you really realize, and that's something what was the like game changer in my life, when you really realize you are just a consciousness, and how clear is that consciousness, that big this quality of the consciousness will be the quality of your life. Then you will then when you realize this, you will start eat cleaner, to speak cleaner, to have more good relationship with your friends, with girlfriend, with your family, and you will just naturally start to be a good person. Not like start to be a good person. That's everybody's good person. Just sometimes we don't see that, yeah, because everybody we have that good inside ourselves. That's why I have no opponent in this world, because it's only one opponent is here, and that's my ego. That's that's something what's still keeping the like passivity for what we want. We don't want to do that. But once you accept the way of the warrior, but not just to be the fighter, but inside warrior, to fight your weaknesses, fight with fight with your weaknesses, then everything changes.
Man, much respect. It's really impressive the way you live your life and how disciplined you are. Last question for you, Jiri. What means more to you, beating Alex Pereira or becoming UFC light heavyweight champion again?
It's not about like beating Alex Pereira, but I want to prove that I have the style, and I am able to show the performance which will win against Pereira. And that's the goal. That's the goal. That's my life.
I wish you the best, my friend. I can't wait for it, and much respect to you for stepping up and everything you represent and the way you walk the walk and talk the talk, if you get what I'm saying. So I know so many people are rooting for you. All the best to you. Good luck on Saturday, and thank you for the time on this Monday before the fight.
You too. See ya.
All right. Take care, Jiri. There he is. Jiri Prochazka, the great Jiri Prochazka. What a guy. How could you not love and respect both of these guys? They represent everything that we love about these fighters, about these martial artists, about these mixed martial artists. I was talking to my nephew yesterday, my other nephew. I've talked about my older nephew. Now his brother is getting into it. He's in 8th grade, and he told me that Jiri's his favorite fighter. This is how much the sport has grown. Now 8th graders, and soon it will be even younger than that, look up to these guys. They are now in the mainstream. They are now beloved. They are now characters that you can get behind. And that shot of the two of them, I don't think we can show it. Maybe, I don't know. It's not fight footage, but who the hell knows? Them going back and forth as Bruce Buffer is announcing them in November. He's doing the whole intro thing, and they're just both so locked in. There's something really unique about the two of them because they're both super intense, super disciplined, super locked in, but there's a lot of questions because of the short notice nature of this all. You know, Alex was traveling the world. Alex was in Australia. Alex is coming off the 2 broken toes. Jiri was home. Jiri had agreed to the fight a week before. Yuri's the hunter, not the hunted. Alex has become infinitely more popular since they've last fought and over the past year. And so is he as disciplined? One would think. But what if he's not? And here's Jiri trying to get the belt back. And here's Jiri who thinks that he was, maybe robbed. It was stopped prematurely, etc., etc., etc. I can't wait for this fight. I freaking love this fight. I love everything about it. And I have so much respect for the two of them for taking the fight on short notice. So what's going on here? All right. It sounds like Devin Haney is at the doctor's with a family member. I don't want to give away too much here. And I had a bad feeling about this one. Not gonna lie. Sometimes you have a bad feeling. Sometimes you have a good feeling. Yeah, it doesn't sound like maybe, I don't know. Who the hell knows? We shall see. God, I can't wait for that fight. I don't really care. By the way, speaking of boxing, Teofimo Lopez is back on Saturday as well. I think that fight is in Miami against Steve Claggett. Yeah, at the James L. Knight Center in Miami Beach. What is the James L. Knight Center? That's a top-ranked card. James L. Knight. Where's the James L. Knight Center? Where have I heard of that? James L. Knight.
Like a musical.
Oh. Oh, wow. Downtown
It's
Miami.
like a theater. It's like 4,500 people.
Oh, it's like it's in South Beach. 2nd Avenue. That's right next to Smith and Walensky's.
Shout out. Let's go for the fight. We'll hit that beforehand. Gorgonzola steaks on me, baby.
Oh no.
Hit up the Jimmy Knight Center, see Teofimo.
Would you ever go back there, by the way? Or is it you won't go back there, or is it like you won't go back there and just not, you will go back there but just not order that?
I would be willing to go back there. It would not be my first choice. I would never order something like that again. Something so heinous and
regardless of where you are.
Yeah. One time I went to a place and the special of the evening was gorgonzola encrusted steak. And I left the establishment.
What? You just left?
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I was just like, absolutely. She was like, can I interest you in our specials? And I could already see it on the specials board behind her. And I was like, you absolutely cannot. I wouldn't. I would go hungry before I ate that.
What if someone you're with orders it? Like, hey, I love this. I love the special.
I would tell them the story. I would get incredibly detailed and tell them every every detail of the story, and then they wouldn't order it.
Yeah. And if there's been a couple of instances, unfortunately, where I've had food poisoning, I will not go back, period. I can't go back.
You still haven't been back to KFC, huh?
No, that wasn't food poisoning. I just overdid it.
Oh.
But there's like a place near where we live with like an institution, and I think I got it from there, and it's been like 6 years.
I don't blame you, man.
I won't go back.
Don't blame you. I got it. I've gotten it twice in my life. The other time was from a shrimp scampi. I don't think I've had shrimp scampi since.
What is shrimp scampi? What's the difference between that and like shrimp, like a normal shrimp appetizer? What is the scampi? With sauce?
No. It's like a shrimp with pasta.
Oh, and you got it from
Actually,
there?
I
Huh?
wouldn't even know. It's been a while since I had one. Yeah, pasta, sauce, garlicky, butterly.
Yeah, it's a lot going on there. What about Jiri though? Can we just talk about Jiri?
The
real
man,
quick?
the man. I don't think I have ever had a fight where I am like more
torn,
saddened
Yeah.
at the fact that one of them is going to lose. I'm not torn because I want both of them to win. These are two of my favorite fighters on the entire roster. I could never cheer against either of them. So yeah, I mean, he's the man, the samurai way, always ready, the warrior spirit. Pereira too. It's going to be an incredible fight. I bet we get a finish. I have no idea who's going to win. I can't wait for it. It's 10 out of 10. I couldn't be more excited.
Man. And currently, who's the favorite?
Alex is the favorite. He's like a minus 150. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's pretty close.
Yeah, plus 136. I mean, Jiri was having some good moments before he got caught. Like it wasn't like he got the doors blown off or anything. Like he was having some success before he got caught. So it's gonna be interesting, man. Everything that you just said about Alex being in Australia, he's obviously been essentially on a world tour since he has reached this pinnacle of fame and popularity. And Yuri's been in the woods in the middle of Czech, locked in a cabin with no lights and no food. So I mean, there's just no telling where they're at. The toes thing with Pereira. There's a lot of factors that plays into this one. I mean, the short notice, I don't know who it's going to benefit, and we won't know until Saturday night.
And you know what's interesting about it? It's like we just saw this recently. When people take fights on short notice, it's not usually the champion who's putting his belt on the line. And I think Alex Pereira deserves all the credit in the world. Like usually a champion will say like, yeah, I'll take this on short notice, but it's me moving up or it's me fighting a non-title fight. It's very rarely a title fight that is thrown together, especially against someone that you've already beaten. So this guy knows you a little bit. Like, this is super rare. I'm sure it's happened off the top of my head. I feel like I'm thinking of one and can't quite get it out. But the point is, he deserves so much credit for taking this fight, not asking it for it to be like at a catch weight or a non-title or him moving up and looking to get a second belt, him going up to heavyweight, something like that. And here he is defending the title at 205 when he's out on the other side of the world, getting over 2 broken toes against the guy that he beat in November, a guy who's as intense, who wasn't sitting at home just like eating, potato chips. He wasn't just like gorging on hamburgers and whatnot. Like, it's just
gamer. He's just a gamer. Both these guys are. It's incredible. I mean, I think I saw a quote from Pereira today that like beyond this fight, he's like, oh yeah, I want to go fight Magomed Ankalaev because I want to prove to people that I actually have a ground game. I mean, both these guys are just as game as they come.
Yeah. And both so different, but also they have this common link of, you know what I mean?
Like this like stoicism, intensity, just like Jiri was saying, just like the warrior spirit, but in like the samurai and Alex is going to come out in the tribal face paint and everything. It's just incredible. It's a fight that the buildup needs really no words said, but I just get more and more excited every time that I see them and every time I think about the fight.
By the way, what he was saying about the spirituality and all that, I feel like it was like subtle shade, but I couldn't quite. Is he saying like he's someone who feeds off of this? But what do you think he was saying?
I got a little bit lost along the way, man. I was just vibing with it.
I just loved it.
I was just rolling with it. I mean, I actually didn't know that that Pereira did that. That he went to like spiritual gurus to like help him before fights. I was unaware of that. I don't know if that was shade. I don't know what it was. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of muttered to myself. I was smiling, but I muttered to myself like, man, I'm not entirely sure what he's talking about right now.
I too loved it, and that's why I asked the follow
The
up.
wink at the end. The wink at the end. It was great, man. It was great.
What a freaking legend! What a legend! This
And
guy.
that some of that could have come down to just obviously English being his second language, and he couldn't properly get across.
Sure,
what he was
sure.
trying to say.
I kind of like the fact that I didn't totally get it. This is too smart for me. This
I
is
don't get a
above
lot
my-
of things with you. I don't get a lot of things with you.
I mean, the
man.
three. How long do you think
So it
you
makes it
could
so
last?
great.
How long could you last in the room there?
Dude, I don't know. No lights, no food.
You think you could last 3 days? I don't think I could. I think I would break.
If me ending it was just like he had no pressure to do it. Like if it's literally just he goes into a room and just sits there, and all I have to do is just walk out of the room. The door is right there anytime I want. No way I'm making it 72 hours. No shot. I don't know how long I'm doing it. The fact that he trains in there is
trains in there.
is
He's
even
shadow
more
boxing.
insane.
He's probably doing a ton of like push-ups, sit-ups, all kinds of things, meditation. Also, you know when you go to a movie, 2-hour, 3-hour movie, and then you walk outside, especially like on a matinee, sunny day, summer day, and it takes like a second for your eyes to get used to it. Imagine how your eyes are feeling after 3 days in the summer over there. You're like, I can't.
I just love that. Like when he goes swimming, it's just in a lake. Bring the towel down to the lake.
Oh yeah.
No need to hit the Olympic pool or anything.
And the other thing is, in those 3 days, no one could get in touch with you. Like, what if there's some kind of emergency? That
you're getting in touch with yourself, man.
That in its own right would stress me out. You know
See,
what I
but
mean?
he lives a different life than us. Like his focus is training and things like that. He's not worried about the externals.
He's not checking Snapchat.
He doesn't need to be in contact with anyone.
I was just
him versus him.
I was just curious. Like, does he have a partner? Does he go on dates? Like, what does he do?
I was actually thinking that before you even asked. I was like, does Jiri have a girlfriend? Like, does he have a wife?
I don't.
I guess it would not be shocking to me if he was just like, yeah, I have 2 kids, and we just didn't know.
We just didn't know. Yeah, it seemed to say that he has chosen to not have those kinds of hobbies, if you want to call that, or relationships or distractions. I don't know what.
Yeah,
he's all
right
in.
now. He's focused on the career. Afterwards, he can enjoy his fruits of his labor out in the woods in the Czech Republic.
How old's Yuri? 31. He's just 31. Unbelievable.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
feels like he's way older than that.
And Alex is
36?
36.
37?
36 turns 37 July 7th. Cancer baby. Shout out.
Wow. Shout out to July babies, man.
Yeah, you and I. Also, shout out to the great Leo Messi. Birthday today, too. We didn't shout him out at the top of the show.
Shout out to Leo.
Frank.
I'm sure he's
your
watching
mom,
right now.
My mom and Leo Messi. I mean, what a trio.
It is quite the day of the year.
And Quebec. Quebec's birthday, too.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Birth of a nation.
All right. Well, I guess I'm just going to move on here because it doesn't seem like Devin is showing up. So here we are. I don't know. They said he's at a doctor's appointment. I had a bad feeling. Not going to lie. Have the text to prove it. But, these things happen when you're doing a live show. So, what's the point? Maybe we'll get him on Wednesday. Maybe we won't. I don't have much more to say about that. 3:03 on Saturday. I guess we'll do the. Are we going to do the thing on Wednesday? We're going to do the draft on Wednesday.
The
Yeah,
draft
let's do it,
of
man.
all drafts.
It's going to be great.
Yeah. Do we include PFL or do we not include PFL?
Yes.
I say we just keep it to 3:03.
What?
Yeah.
I second that.
Why?
Do we include PFL or
Open
no?
up- Open up the options.
Oh, well, I know. I'm not making the final call. My vote is to not. It's an
No, I
international.
like it.
Say yes.
It's
Yeah, it's
international, fight week. Yes. What do you say?
It's International Fight Week, so you add PFL on there.
Oh, it's not even happening.
international.
It's not even happening in the same city.
So are you
Exactly. Worldwide, baby.
Oh,
That's how
I
the
get
draft
it.
is played.
All right, fine.
International Fight Week. It's not International UFC Week.
Okay, fine.
More
Wait a
options,
minute.
better.
Did Ariel flip sides here, or are you just playing devil's advocate? You were like
No,
pro
no.
PFL, and now you're like being convinced that it's a good idea.
Who, me?
Hey, he's flipped.
He's flipped.
Yeah.
Who, me? Wow.
No, actually,
I have a
me.
nosebleed now, Ariel. Thank you.
I can be convinced. Oh, by the way, I wanted to give a shout out to Merab Dvalishvili, who competed in the U.S. Sambo Championships over the weekend. Look at this. I mean, this guy just going on side quests just because. He's like, yeah, sure, I'll compete.
Full on fighting people. Like,
yo,
this is no joke, man.
Yeah, this isn't like
he's swinging out
points.
of his shoes.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. This guy is about to fight for the title most likely in September. Look at this freaking guy. He can roll an ankle.
Poor guy. Whoever got silver against him is just like, damn, man. I would have had gold if a UFC title challenger had not entered the tournament.
Seriously. What about the guy who gets him in the first round? Whoa, look at this guy.
Yeah. First round.
He's like, what? This fucking guy?
Oh, what's the draw? Looks like you got a Merab Dvalishvili. I wonder if that's just coincidence and that's actually.
Wait a second, I know that name. Is it the same guy?
I mean, these guys are fighting in like a barn. Like, this is not like they're in front of like a massive crowd or anything. Like, whoever got that first round draw, that's tough.
I asked him. It is tough. All this was Saturday, 5 days. Excuse me, 5 matches on Saturday. I asked him, like, do you have to get permission for something like that? He's like, no, because it's not like I'm getting paid for it. It's just kind of like sparring for me. That's how he
5 professional Sambo matches.
That's how he categorized it.
A light warm up, man.
So he says he just won the American Championship. Now he can represent the U.S. in the World Championships and the Pan Am Championships. The Pan Ams are in Brazil end of August. If I don't have a fight in the UFC, I will go do it. World Championship is in Kazakhstan in November. And if I don't have a fight, I will go there too.
A man of many nations.
I'm doing this just because I want to do it, but I'm not making money from here. Now, I don't think anyone thought he was making money from it. It's just unbelievable that he just does it, right?
Yeah. Reps Georgia, reps Mexico, and now he can go rep the USA in the Sambo Championship.
He is going to be at the Sphere representing Mexico. It's crazy. All because of Henry Cejudo. And then on a random Saturday, he's like, yeah, let me just go win this American Sambo. And I don't know what the level of talent is. I don't know who the other fighters are, but the fact that you're less than 3 months away. Well, the fact that you're less than 3 months away from a UFC title fight, by far the biggest fight of your life, and you're like, yeah, let me go do this against guys who are not there to spar with you, right? They're not there to like protect you or challenge you. They're there to hurt you. Like, they're there to win. You don't like the biggest moment of most of those people's lives would be beating Merab in this championship, right? This is their UFC title fight. And he does it. And not only does he do it, he dominates and wins. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm actually getting an update from Casey, who says that the guy in the blue that he was fighting is his teammate that he trains with a lot.
Oh, wow.
So he definitely knew who Merab was.
Oh, yeah. I can't imagine anyone competing in that and not
doesn't know who he is, yeah.
Especially in the Sambo world. Like, it's unbelievable. That is really unbelievable. Credit to the UFC for allowing the fighters to do that. I don't think a lot of people would think that. So well done. All right. We'll be back on Wednesday. More to talk about then regarding 303. More to get ready with. We got the draft and a couple of things in the works at the moment, but nothing that we can actually officially announce as far as guests, lineup, et cetera, et cetera. But it's a fun week. It's a fun time for the sport, and summer in full swing with a bunch of fun fights coming up. So keep it locked, as they say. For now, though, let's go home, Frank. My kids are going to sleepaway camp tomorrow.
Sleepaway camp?
Yes. What do you call it?
I've never heard it called sleepaway camp.
What do you call it?
Summer camp?
Oh, he's called it
the
sleepaway camp on this show.
Yeah.
And then I probably was just like, I don't know what that is, and moved on.
No, we had that whole saga last year. It was very emotional.
Yes. Well, 2 years
ago,
I was
camp,
crying my eyes out.
Letters.
Last year it wasn't.
Soccer updates.
Yes, that was last year. Yes.
Yeah, soccer updates.
Yes, I wrote them emails. I have to do that. So they're going tomorrow. They don't seem all that nervous, sad.
Yeah,
like,
they're excited, man.
You guys gonna miss us?
Let's also just be clear. Let's just set a precedent here. Every summer, we've talked about summer camp, and we definitely did the International Fight Week draft. We
Okay.
just do those every.
Fair enough. But I call it sleepaway camp.
Oh yeah, sleepaway camp. I'm sorry.
Yes. But what do you guys call
Talk
it?
about camping.
You guys call it summer camp?
Yeah, summer
That's
camp.
how I vote it.
Yeah, but
Real-
summer
real
could also
quick.
be a day camp. So this is a sleepaway camp.
When you are
Overnight
ordering
Could be.
food from a restaurant that you do not intend to eat at the restaurant, what do you call
This
it?
is great. This is great.
Wait, what?
When you're ordering food
Takeout.
from a restaurant
Yeah.
that you don't intend to eat there,
Yeah.
what do you call that?
Depends. Are they delivering it or am I going to get it?
You're gonna go get it.
Takeout?
Takeout.
Um,
All right.
To go order.
To go.
Oh.
And then I guess in like England, it's
place
takeaway.
To go order.
Takeaway, yeah. That's
So
right.
when you said sleepaway camp,
Okay.
I'm thinking like,
You know, in England, they also call it sun cream, not sunscreen,
didn't know that.
Interesting.
for the record. Anyway, thanks to all our
Rocket.
guests. Paul
Arugula.
Hughes, Ian Machado Garry, Jiri Prochazka, not Devin Haney. Back on Wednesday. Same time, place. Peace, somebody.